Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, but more importantly, blue morning to you because, of course, it is the Blue Morning Show. I hope that everyone is doing well, and I sincerely do hope so. Today, we're going to talk about Marina Granovskaia. Some people say she's the most brilliant, some marvel at her shrewd negotiating skills. Others blame her for the deals, the players we've tried to sign that through. So we are going to take our time to talk about her today, her profile, what she does for the club, and overall look at things that we believe will define her legacy at Chelsea Football Club. But I'm glad to have already declared in the house. Declared, how are you doing, brother?
Good morning. How's
Good
everything?
morning to you. Are
Another
you
day.
excited? Are you excited for this one?
Of course, I'm excited for all of them. But to be honest, now that you took your 24-hour stream down, I've been very lost and lost on my ways. I'm ill-informed, and it was hard to get through my day because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I think it caused a bit of algorithm issue, but I'll put it back on because I will not do
No, I was
the
I
regular.
was joking
I will
too.
not do the regular Blue Morning show for almost 1 week. I'll
And
be
to
out
do
of
it on.
town for almost 1 week. Yeah, go ahead. You were saying something.
No, I was actually joking about that bit too. But they're great stuff. And
Yeah, it was an experiment, but it affected the algorithm a
it
bit.
was
So
good.
yeah, I had to take it down. It's something I developed to help me catch up with what's going on before every show. But I said, okay, I could actually put it up so followers can look at it and all that. But I had to take it down. But that's by the way. I'm gonna try to catch up with what we have on the channel, and then we'll go through Marina's history, and we'll take it from there. Let me see. There was the first comment I saw something. I think it was from True Blue who say the title of the show was designed to get people to say more negative stuff about her that no credit for me, but that indeed wasn't the case. It just the fact is nobody is perfect. The title, which reads Marina Granovskaia leaves at Chelsea and nearly nothing was ever her fault. This is more like Marina's review, but we'll get into it in a bit. Says, who is this? Sorry, I can't see the comment. Am I going to have the screen issue today again? I hope that's not the case. I really do hope that's not the case. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay. Says good morning, a blue morning. I hope it's yeah. I hope you're doing well, Sutran. I hope things are good at your end. And again, I don't like it when this happens. My screen is really really slow. Come on. And Phantom says for to like. Congratulations to you, Phantom. You made it to the Champions League. I'm happy for you. And again, first and Christopher. Awasa sounds like a Nigerian name. He says, I was very excited when I heard that Marina is leaving. Okay, you tell us why you're excited, when you heard that she's leaving. I really do want to know. Please do let me know. And again, Sutran says, covering the EXL, Chelsea make a Richarlison inquiry. Sources report on Starling Laporte, Klaus Skriniar, and more. Boehly as a chairman, City fan on Starling plus loan more. Wow, that's a whole download at the same time. But before we continue, we're just 6 minutes into the show right now. I want to ask you to please keep liking the video as you're coming in. Again, the likes do go a long way for the show. The more you like the show, the more we'd be able to reach more people and the more fun it will be. Again, like I've told you before, I prefer you even liking the video than donating to the channel. The likes do more to the channel than the donations. If you that's in my opinion. Louisa, welcome to the panel. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you, coach? Good morning.
Good morning. I can't complain. Are you excited for this one?
Ah, I've just been mellow on this news that has been going on, and I'm excited to see what we could potentially become under this new era.
Mm. I'm excited too, and I'm hopeful that everything will go well, it will become better, and all that. I hope that will be the case. So we'll just get into it. Let me quickly read Marina's history. Her nationality. Her nationality. Marina was born in Russia. However, Marina Granovskaia is a dual Russian and Canadian national. As such, aside from her native Russian, Marina can also speak fluent English and several other languages. So not just Russian, not just English, several other languages. Education, Marina Granovskaia graduated from Moscow University in 1997 with honors. That shows you how smart of a woman she is. With honors, that highlights how smart she is, why she's come this far in her career. Nobody can take that away from her. She didn't just get to to the level she is today by being stupid, and more importantly, why Roman Abramovich trusts her. Now let's talk about her career after her graduation in 1997 from Moscow State University. Marina Granovskaia kicked off her career the same year at Sibnet or Sibnet, however you want to pronounce it, the oil company formerly owned by Roman Abramovich. Now, remember, Roman Abramovich no longer owns that company. So Marina Granovskaia has since worked closely with Mr. Roman Abramovich as a senior advisor and moved from the Russian capital to London after the acquisition of Chelsea Football Club in 2003. And her long-term boss, with her long-term boss, Roman Abramovich, and since 2010 has acted as a representative of the owner at the club and in support of the board of directors. Now, let's talk about her responsibilities. That's where I'm going to bring you guys in. Her responsibilities. Marina Granovskaia joined the board of Chelsea FC PLC and the football club board in June 2013 and is mainly responsible for player transactions. It did not say player recruitment, it says player transactions. Now, the question is, what does that mean? I'm going to start with you, Louisa. When you hear that her responsibilities is, that she's responsible for player transactions, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is just that exactly, like she's responsible for the negotiations, the clause, the financial terms that are added into the players' contracts when acquiring them and when selling them to a club. So I feel like that's your approach to it right now is just the perfect one, because that's where she gets a lot of blame. The fan base kind of don't understand what a job description exactly is at Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
I feel like we should be able to at some point put two and two together, even if the club is not being like forthcoming with all the necessary information. But do we really think Marina is the one saying, okay, we need Lukaku, we're buying Lukaku for this coach and the coach should figure it out? Is that, I understand that maybe they might make like one or two marquee signings and maybe that would be for publicity's sake or for the income that the player could potentially bring in like fans, shirt sales and the rest. But do we really think that the selling and buying of players based on talent and scouting is what Marina's job description is?
Yeah, that's a question that the fans need to answer. I think she's been scapegoated quite a lot of times, and I'm not going to say much now. I want to get Declared's thoughts. When I say my own 2 cents, as a DJ side would say, I will voice phrase it the way, put it the way I want to put it to the public or to anybody that's listening. Declared, your thoughts on Marina's job responsibilities. And by the way, I got that from the website, which means I'm not trying, just to make it clear, I'm not trying to mislead anybody. Just it is the way I saw it on the website. Your thoughts, Declared?
Yeah, Marina's exact job description has always been up in the air, or best guess. I always looked at Marina as someone high up because she is the mouthpiece for Roman when he couldn't be there, especially from what was the first year he couldn't be there? Was it 2015?
I'm not sure what year.
He couldn't enter. Yeah,
I'm not sure what year.
Marina played a massive part from when he couldn't come back into the UK, right? So now it's hard to distinguish whether she is the voice of Roman or she's also making the decisions on behalf of Roman in trust.
Now, nobody is sure.
No one's sure. So she also negotiates as well. But what we do know is that when it comes to football, she has no background, no knowledge, no anything. Right? The only thing we do know about Marina is that she worked for Roman for many years. And so there's a trust there. So we can tell probably Marina is the most trusted person at Chelsea for Roman in his time there. So we're not sure, but why Marina gets scapegoated? Because she's the face. She's also high up, and she might get the last say. And she probably does get the last say on the choices. So it's hard. You can't blame Marina for everything, but what you can probably blame her for is that the scouts, the board, everyone's brought up players' names and decisions. So someone's got to make a decision, right? And it's either Roman or Marina. Someone's making this last call, right? And maybe you can throw Bruce Buck in there, but I don't think he had anything to do with the players. I think he had the other part of it, right? But someone has to pull the trigger on some of these transfers. And so when you think of, if you ever think of how the boardroom is, in that boardroom, some people are going to say Haaland for this reason, just like how we argue. Some people are going to say Lukaku, some people all these names are going to be thrown out, right? On a team of people. Someone has to make the call on that. What you're selling me, right, is the best thing. Or maybe Lukaku was low on the list, right? Each transfer and each target, someone's got a call. So if Marina was making her calls on some of these transfers, then yeah, you can point the finger, right? But if it was all Roman behind the scene as well, then it's hard to say. But like I said, Marina gets scapegoated because she's the only face out of that whole team of people that I'm talking about.
Or probably because people are well acquainted of how close she is to Roman Abramovich. But here is the thing again. One thing about people is that most people, especially when we talk about football followers, once we have our mind set on something, thinking it is like this, it's hard to convince people. But we're actually people are actually capable of educating themselves and finding out this is really what this person does. If the issue has always been Marina, if the problem has always been Marina when deals fall through, when we fail to negotiate the contracts of players, you'd find out from players themselves. You'd find out from some people at the club and not just the fans, because this is mainly what I think this is an assumption from some journalists who have access to Chelsea, who's taken things out of control. And the fact is, let's face it, because she is a negotiator and because of how close she is with Roman Abramovich, I think you've indirectly said the same thing I'm saying right now. There's always the chance that whenever she's negotiating with a player or a club to bring in a player, she will always go back to Roman and say, look, this is the price they quoted. And there's nothing wrong in that. And one point to make clear is that she's never the one to say, we want this player, we want the other player. All she cares is to go negotiate because the manager or Roman says he wants the one player or the other player. So, but people, as it's clear now, most of the Chelsea fans have failed to educate themselves. And one of the comments I'm looking here already, I think it's this one. One of them somebody here says they are excited. So here, I was very excited when I heard that Marina is leaving. And I asked Christopher Awasa to tell us why. Maybe if he tells us why, we get to help him understand that she's not really to be blamed for the whole thing. And I've heard
explain a bit more, Coach too.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to also add, right? Marina, you brought it up. You said that she can't be the blame, but I think she can be, because whether you find when you're trying to finger point, right? Marina is the face of our transfers. Whether gets the last call, whether she's the one that makes it up or whether it's someone else, right? What you just read out, Marina, and your position at the club is the face of our transfers, right? We don't know the scouts, we don't know anything, but she most likely probably pulls the trigger, right, on the options that are given to her. Now, she also gets praised when we do good transfers. We don't praise the person.
That's wrong. That's completely wrong. Marina has never gotten praise for scouting, for getting a good player in. The only praise I've ever seen Marina get is on the Hazard deal, on how we are still cashing out.
You haven't met some of the people I've met. There's a lot of people that have Marina posters in their room.
That's
right?
The only time.
Listen, over a lot of years, Marina has gotten praise as well. There's no doubt about that. You can say in your bubble it hasn't, but in my one definitely, right? There's been heaps of people. There's people that absolutely love her, right? It's just the only reason why it might seem like she hasn't got any praise, because for the last maybe 5 seasons, our transfers have been pretty poor. But before then, she was getting great praise.
But pretty poor in what aspect? And the players we're bringing in being bad players, right?
They're not working out, yeah. But at the same time, Marina has no football skills, right, or football knowledge to know that, right? But what I said, she's the face. The same example I'm going to give you now, right? The managers we've gone through have been sacked, not entirely their fault. The players didn't perform. The players down tools, right? A lot of players got people sacked. Managers sacked. We didn't point the finger at players, right, all the time. And the players didn't get kicked out of the club. The manager got kicked out of the club. So in the same example, Marina is the manager of transfers in this case, right? The transfers for her didn't work out, right? Even though whoever's decision it was, she's the face of it, right? She's the one that makes the last call. So there's a good chance it's not her fault. There's a good chance it is her fault, right? We're not even sure the ins and outs, but because she's the face, she's the manager, that's why people are happy to get her out, because someone has to take some kind of blame for like 5 years or majority of the transfers not working out. And it's probably no one's fault because... Yeah, I was just going to add
go ahead. When you're done, Luisa comes in. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like someone like Lukaku, Liverpool after Werner, like these players looked great before they came to our club. Do you know what I mean? I think it's even hard to blame. I think there's always a risk of bringing a player, but it's just our transfer. We've got a lot of players. We've got one of the highest wage bills under Man United, right? Someone stuffed up here. And I think someone wants someone to pay for it, and that's basically it. And sometimes in the world, sometimes the people that aren't fully responsible for it are the ones that lose their job or get the blame. So I think that's what I was really getting at.
Yeah, you make a great point too. That's why we're here to talk about it, to help educate people. And by the way, Just Viola, I did see your message. Yes, it's intentionally. I left it on the screen intentionally, and that's why I'm highlighting the aspect that says and is mainly responsible for player transactions, which to me doesn't mean she's responsible for picking the players that we sign. Luisa, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm actually excited that Marina is leaving, because now we are going to look for a new scapegoat. In fact, that's the only reason why I'm excited she's leaving. But on the other hand, we need to remember the kind of person Marina is. And I felt like I knew she was going to leave, because obviously she came in through Roman. It's not like she came in when
you could argue you could argue that she is Roman's most trusted confidant.
Exactly. So I knew the Boehly era was going to be the end of Marina, because obviously you need to bring in your people into these like senior positions. Our own sport was like a really pivotal part of the club. So I knew Boehly were going to bring in their own people for that. And since Marina is not like employee of Chelsea, she was mostly like Roman's employee before she came into Chelsea. One other aspect I was going to say was that Marina is the perfect candidate for this kind of Boehly situation, because Boehly consortium, I'm really sure they are going to want profit at the end of the day, even if Roman put a clause that they don't get money out of the club till a certain time. At a point in time, your investment needs to start paying dividends, which I felt like Marina was the perfect candidate for, while knowing already that we need to win, we need to bring in good players, we still need to balance the books and make profits. She was the perfect person for that. So I'm actually kind of excited to see how next we shape this thing, because now we kind of sense why it felt like nothing was going on. Maybe they're trying to sort out the Marina and Bruce situation, because now those ones are not going to be the ones in charge of the transaction this window, which we thought they were going to be in charge of the transaction this window, because it would have been too quick to like let go of them, then bring in the Boehly people to make the deals for this summer. But seems like the Boehly people are the ones going to make this summer transactions, which explains why things look like they've been slow. They've been trying to sort the boardroom and the backroom staff first of all before going into the market to get in these players. So now we are going to see, okay, and now we're seeing the amount that these people are getting, like the Broha deal that the West Ham are rumored to be offering, I think 25 to 30, while
around that number,
the initial contact with the initial contact with this name just skipped my head, but I think they said we made an initial offer which was like 20 or 30. Okay, yeah, for Sterling, the initial contract for Sterling, which was about 20 to 32 from the Boehly people, and the Lukaku deal. So even the Lukaku deal now, it seems like Boehly is the one spearheading it. And what we need to note is that the reason why Marina was also getting the blame, which you can't really argue with, was that after Emenalo, after Emenalo left, it kind of looked like Marina was taking over his duties, which was wrong, because Emenalo was the technical director. Marina did not have the experience or the qualifications to be called a technical director, which understandably is why she was getting the blame. It felt like she took over his job and was selling up the academic players and all the rest of. So I don't understand why she's getting blamed. I'm happy she's leaving so that she'll stop getting blamed because this is Chelsea fan base. We're very reactionary. Somebody is going to get blamed very soon for something else.
Yeah, exactly.
It could go the other way, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the irony of it. If we have a good transfer window, which could have been set up by Marina from even this season or the season transfer season earlier, everyone's going to say, "Oh well, look, we got Marina out, and that she was the problem." So
no, usually it's Marina does it again. That's what you hear. Marina does it again. Yeah. Again.
So some people will take it. Yeah, some people will take it the wrong way. Yeah. So in order for Luis to be right, is that we have to fail again. If we have a good transfer window, people are gonna pile on more on Marina. So, and she could be the one that actually got it right before she left.
Yeah.
Which is the irony about the whole thing. So yeah, you can't hope she. It's not a good thing that she left, just to prove, we failed. But the next person will come. There is going to be another target.
I don't even we don't even have to, as Chelsea fan base, we don't really even have to fail spectacularly for us to point the fingers at someone else. We're always going to react about something.
It's a culture. It's a culture at Chelsea. Let me quickly catch up with the chat. Yeah, let me quickly catch up with the chat. And I know Nick has also joined the panel, and if I come back, I'll give him a chance to speak. But I think this is a perfect, conversation, a perfect debate to help educate the fans, because I think she's been blamed unfairly. And Declan, you made some important points. She's the face. That's why it's easy to point fingers at her. And again, I'm reading this again from Christopher Awasa, who says, "I was very excited when I heard that Marina is leaving, and I've asked you to tell us why. I'm waiting to see your response. I'll be glad to read it. And Citron says, I think I've read this. Is talking about transfers. Again, we're not going to talk. We scheduled 2 shows. I think we have about 30 minutes break after this particular show before the other one starts, and we go into it. So here we're here to review Marina's stay at Chelsea Football Club. Big up Kachila and the panel sells the queen of the house. Big up Just Vihala. I'm looking forward. I have my spell check turned on so I don't make mistakes and you don't get the chance to shed me in public, okay? Hey, everyone in the chat. And then again, hi, Just Vihala. This is just people saying hi. And Liam Lane, I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here already. And the Claudiori on the panel, nice to see you, brother. Again, Chelsea are keeping a close eye on Brian. We'll talk about transfers later. This is not about transfers. Liam Lane says hi, declared. Deals CFC, my brother. He says, big up Kachila and the panel. I want to see us sign Klaus. We'll talk about that the next show that starts 30 minutes or so after this one ends. Believe me, we don't just want to talk about Marina Granovskaia right now. Of course, I don't know how to pronounce her last name correctly. Let me see anything here about what we're talking about. It says a blue morning, everyone. Hey, Suleiman, blue morning to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. Todd Boehly, negotiator. Okay, he doesn't know anything about football, and he is our negotiator. I think you don't need to know anything about football before, to be able to negotiate a price. Maybe there's a need to know. I don't know. I could be wrong. Romelu Lukaku's deal, Inter have now submitted. Okay, we'll come back to that in a bit. We'll talk about Marina here. Big up everyone and hit the like button. Yes, people keep liking the video. We have 30 likes already. At least let's surprise me today. Let's shoot for 200 likes by the end of the show. Big up everyone and hit the like button, people, and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, please do so. That will go a long way for the channel. I'd like us to keep rolling. We'll come back to that in a bit. Transfer is for the next conversation, the next show, which starts 30 minutes after this one ends. So let's talk about Marina Granovskaia right now. We're getting to transfers when we get into the other show. Kachila, we can see your screen. Like I've told you, I know I left it there intentionally just to highlight something. Let's again, nothing about Marina here. Yes, I'm not sure why Marina is getting all this. Yep, all this stick. Everyone makes mistakes. She made some stroke of genius. Hazard, Morata, Costa, etc. Lukaku failed doesn't mean she's bad. It doesn't mean it was her fault. It doesn't mean she was the one that that suggested we go for Lukaku. She's not a scout. We know the story, but we'll talk about it in a bit. I think I have to open up, get Lukaku's photo also because of when we talk about her. Marina was just a negotiator. She gets told what we have to buy, and she's done wonders deal for Hazard, Tanks, and others too. Again, all I can say, people will never mention good things you do. That's the thing. That's life for you. Marina has been praised for Hazard, Morata, and Diego Costa resale. Yep, what a load of nonsense. How many have a poster of Marina? If you don't know what he's talking, ask, and he'll explain to you. Hit the like button, people. Yes, people, keep liking the video, please. We have 32 likes now. Keep liking the video. Let's get to at least 120 likes before we get to the 1 hour mark. Keep liking the video, and please do share the stream on whatever social media you have presence, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please get us more people here. It will be fun. Thomas Tucker remains, again, no transfers now until we get to the next show. We start around 30 minutes before this one, after this one ends. Todd better know what he's doing. I hope so too, says my brother. Philip Smith says, very sad to see Marina leaving Chelsea. She's done some good business for us. Says, again, so who are the bad signings? Sorry, left off his own squad. Even if there are bad signings, it's never her fault. It's as simple as that. She doesn't point to the players who signed. So that argument right there, to me, it's irrelevant. If anybody points to bad signings and says Marina, then I ask you whether she was a scout, whether she was the person that points to players who signed, because her background isn't football. It's as simple as that. I did expect Marina to leave. I thought so at much. As long as Roman Abramovich is no longer the Chelsea owner, I did expect her to leave. However, I expected her to stay through the transition period to make sure that the transition is smooth because she knows quite a lot about the club and she has some handover to do. I'm not judging transfer window until the end. Yeah, we're not talking about her. Morning, ladies and gentlemen, says Nick, who's already here on the panel. Again, says Boehly running the show. We'll talk about that. What could be the implications? I'm not sure why he's taking over so many roles at the same time. But leave Marina love Chelsea, very love Chelsea, not out Lukaku. This just fried my brain right now. I'm glad she's going. She deserves better. Some of the garbage she has had thrown at her. That is just the truth. So back to the panel, Nick. Before I bring you in, Nick, I want us to look at this. I hope I find it. Where's my doc here? I intentionally highlighted the background of the end and part of the sentence. Listen, this is Marina's responsibility at Chelsea, or responsibilities. Marina Granovskaia joined the board of Chelsea FC PLC and the Football Club board in June 2013, and it's mainly, look at that sentence there, and it's mainly responsible for player transaction. That alone, debunks the rumors, people calling her, blaming her for the deadwoods, because a lot of people do that. Not even if you're talking about the fees we pay for players, then you could look at this and pay for signing players, and you could say, we shouldn't have paid that much. But there's no way you blame her that I won't come out and let you know you shouldn't even blame her. But in the case of her responsibilities, people shouldn't even blame her for bad signings. Nick, your thoughts on Marina Granovskaia?
Yeah, I'm glad you found that and brought that up, because that's what she was for, transactions. She's not a scout. She didn't choose the players. Her job was to do the money side. And most of the time she got it right. She made great transactions, great deals for us. Don't forget Chilwell. They wanted 80 million, we got it for 50. Eden Hazard, she made all that profit. Morata, and so on. She made a lot of good stuff for her job. She done great. I'm very sad to see her go because I really liked her at the club. It was nice to see a bright sight to see Marina, especially when I was at Peter Benetti's memorial, and it showed the way she cares about this club. It was her, Peter Cech, all of them, Bruce Back, all the old players, Pat Nevin, and they were singing with us fans, the blue is the color. And she was going crazy, singing it with her passion. She did love the club. I don't want no one to blame Marina for nothing. She was a great person. And, it's sad to see her go, but we have to move forward. It was going to happen. I thought it happened during the season, but it's happened now. It doesn't matter, really, because Boehly has to get his own people in. And that's what's going to happen. Bruce Back is back down. He will go as well. He will get out of the club. This is just the beginning, They don't want to say to him, "Oh, you have to go." They put him behind the scenes like a advisor, sort of like an advisor. And and he be gone by the end of the season, I think. We can only move forward now. We're waiting for this Lukaku deal to go through. I think Friday is going to happen.
We will talk about Lukaku. Yeah. We'll talk about transfers during the next show. Here we're about to review Marina's stay at Chelsea, the work she's done, and everything. But I get your point. Go ahead, Nick. Finish about what you think.
What she's done for this club is only good. She took why did Roman bring her? Roman knew Marina, don't forget, and she was a great negotiator. Great, for the money side, but she didn't choose the player. So fans will blame who brought this player? Why is Barkley here? Why is this one here? But it wasn't her. So you have to stop blaming Marina. True Blue is spot on about Marina. Spot on.
Yeah. Yes. Quickly, let me catch up with the chat again. This is an interactive show, and I want to get the people's thoughts on Marina Granovskaia. Here, your pronunciation of Granovskaia is spot on, Coach. Finally, something good about me from you. But thank you anyway. That doesn't make us friends. We're still fighting if you don't know. Again, says a great time, Showtime brought them all. I'm waiting for Showtime to join us here because here it says mainly players left for free because she's done a bad job by not resigning them to sell to make money. Can you elaborate? And we'll get to that in a bit. Give us an example of the players we'll talk about, and we'll talk them. We'll talk about them. And if you can look at the thumbnail on the screen, I have two players on the right side, to her left, which I know people will bring up, and I have two on the right hand side, which I know people that love her will bring up. And unfortunately, I like to keep my designs symmetrical. I couldn't accommodate Diego Costa on the other side, but we get to that in a bit. Believe me, just stay tuned and explain why you think she's responsible for those people leaving. Says I've read that, and I think I've read this one. She has to go again. Another question I want to ask when I come back to the panel says, we would still have Rudy if it wasn't for her not resigning new contract. Explain how you knew that it was Marina's fault that
Coach,
we couldn't resign.
I have something to say on
Coach, can I come in on that? Yeah,
I'll come back to you guys. Let me highlight the comment.
Let me just say about Rüdiger. Even I thought it was Marina's fault. I was blaming Marina.
We'll get to that.
But it wasn't Marina.
Too soon. Yeah. We'll take it one by one, okay? We'll take it one by one. Trust me.
All right.
Yeah. Trust me, Nick. Look, we would again. I've read that. I hope Nick on your panel for the transfer window. Yep, I think we'll be there. Yeah, that's the next show after this one. It started around 30 minutes after this one. I had to set them up like that to cover both stories because I'll be traveling and probably wouldn't do streams for almost a week, but I'll try to see what I can do. And that's, by the way, good to see you, John Furley. Nice to see you, brother. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well, and I sincerely do hope things are well on your end. Mike Rudy wanted more money. Chelsea should have given him that. It sounds that simple, but we'll get into it. And I highlighted that comment too. Marina was responsible for Rüdiger leaving, though. You could blame her, but we'll talk about it in detail to see what your thought is. She did bad job. Okay, I've heard that. I'm going to skip a few here. It says, smash the like button, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Right now, we have 35 likes, and I know we can do better than that, but thank you for 35 likes. I'd be ungrateful not to thank you for that, but keep liking the video to help us reach more people. And Liam Lane, my brother, makes me laugh at people attacking Marina for such a bad job she did in their opinions. Yes, in their opinions, of course. That makes me happy. This is the woman who is worth 1.5 billion. So I am sure she knows a thing or two. Marina, you have respect. She has my respect too. And again, she works for a man who recognized how good she is and brought her to come and have become the negotiator at the club. You sold our young talents. This is it. I'm not going to, some bad language came to my mind, but I'm not going to use it. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So let's keep going. I wouldn't blame Rüdiger's exit. He looks destined to leave. Don't worry. We'll get to it, everybody. Just calm down. And Helgi, please, I know you have a lot of followers. Make sure you share this to help us get more people to join the show. It's the very important one. Lukaku, she sold for pennies. Again, we'll get to that. Whoever is hiding behind the honorable name, Rüdiger agreed to sign. We'll talk about that. Calm down, people. I just want to get all caught up. Rüdiger is still on the Chelsea contract. He never had the intention of staying, and that's especially true when you listen to his interview after his presentation at Madrid. He says everything changed the moment he spoke with Carlo Ancelotti. So now back to the panel. Here's the thing. Let's start with the two guys to her left, since everybody is talking about that. And the first person people talked about a lot is Antonio Rüdiger. Nick, go ahead. What you want to say about Antonio Rüdiger? Are you for, or the fact that are you saying? I thought you maybe I didn't know what you wanted to object and say it was her. She was responsible for Rüdiger leaving or not. I'm not sure, but you go ahead. You have the floor. Express yourself, Nick. Nick, are you there or have we lost you? Nick, have we lost you?
We lost you.
All right. You wanted to say something, Louisa? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, on the Rudiger deal, like I'll still keep saying this when it comes to like football, because it's not everything we see. Whatever we see is what they want us to see. They can keep their cards close to their chest till the time they say, okay, it's time to let the fans know what is what. Not I fully believe that not everything that is quote unquote leaked has been actually leaked. They just put it out there that okay, it's time for you to know. The way Rudiger has presented himself, he didn't present himself like he wanted to stay at Chelsea and Chelsea did not give him the contract. Rudiger, as if you followed the story of him, of the video of him signing his pictures, even I felt like he's a wonder. He seems like a wonderful person, but even the way he has been posting on social media and all over the past 24 hours, I was a bit like, it just feels like he's saying, oh, he has gone to a better club.
Yep.
It just feels like he has left to a better club, which felt like, okay, I'm a bit salty because okay, I'm a Chelsea fan and I wanted him to stay, but it didn't feel like he was sad to leave or anything. He was grateful to leave. He wanted to leave, and he was offered the contract he wanted. The terms he stated, he was offered everything, but he felt like it was time to cash in on his form. I've said it before on this show that Rüdiger is capitalizing on the past 18 months form that he's been on, which is right, which is his own right to actually do so, because it's a business, he's an employee at the end of the day, even though he's doing something that you need to have passion for.
Here's the thing again. Go ahead. Go ahead if you're still talking.
So if you are bringing Rüdiger in to try and say, Marina didn't give him a deal, Rüdiger felt like it was time for him to explore bigger options.
Here's the thing. Before I bring somebody in, I'll bring Helgi. I don't know if Nick is back. He wanted to say something quickly about Rüdiger. Now that we're talking about Rüdiger, I didn't just want us to skip ahead. Here's the thing. First of all, football is business for the players as much as it is business for the club. Establish that. Now, Chelsea offered Rüdiger more in terms of his weekly pay than he'd be earning at Real Madrid right now. But the difference is he gets a sign-on fee, which he would never have gotten had he stayed at Chelsea. So if you were Antonio Rüdiger, and if I were Antonio Rüdiger, I'd do the same thing. I'd leave. It's as simple as that. And I have nothing against him leaving. But here's where I have a problem with Antonio Rüdiger. He was leaving, and at the point of leaving, he engineered a narrative. He told a story in that story, he engineered a narrative that caused the Chelsea fans to start pointing fingers at Marina and at the club. It's common sense. And that's who I am. I don't just soak in information. Whenever I hear you say stuff, or whenever I read stuff out there, I usually put two and two together. That's why when I see people saying this is going to happen, I read it and I still say that, and I say statistically there's still a chance it's not going to happen. So let me repeat myself again. The only problem I have with Rüdiger is that as he's leaving the door, everything was fine. Chelsea fans were happy. They weren't happy he was leaving, but he made things worse as he told the story he told, a beautiful story indeed about N'Golo Kante and everything else he said. But he went ahead and talked about how there was a vacuum between a certain period of time. Then he had to change his mind. And now we're hearing him say that he made the decision the moment he spoke with Carlo Ancelotti. What does that tell you? He's never been truthful about it. But that's not me. I'm not turning against him right now. I still respect him. I still respect what he's done for Chelsea. I still respect what a player he was for us, especially in the past 6 or 12 to 14, let's say 12 to 14 months or so. But I don't like the fact that as he was leaving the door, he systematically engineered a narrative to now people are, because of that narrative, pointing fingers at Marina Granovskaia and some appointing figures at the club saying that was why Antonio Rüdiger left. Nobody sat down to think about it, that Rüdiger will earn more by going to Real Madrid. Only a few were able to do that calculations and figured out, even if you ask Rüdiger, okay, let's start paying you 350 weekly for 2 years, he'd still go. Because if you do the calculations, he still earn more with that sign-on fee. But that's by the way, because if you let me go, I'll keep going. So now let's keep talking about the Rüdiger aspect of the whole story. Now I'm going to come to you, Helgi, before I go to IBZ, because you made it to the panel. Let's keep it as brief as possible, because it is a long one, and I know this one it stirs emotions, you know. But hopefully, everybody, I think we're here to learn about the situation properly. Again, before we continue, now we have 71 people watching, and we have just 39 likes. Please, I urge you, please keep liking the videos. The more you like the video, the more people would reach, and the more people we have here joining us on the show, the more fun it will be. Let us know what you think about Marina Granovskaia leaving quickly, or let's just get you up to where we are. No need going back. Do you blame Marina Granovskaia for Rüdiger leaving?
It's, as you said, it's a complex situation because of the
I have to be honest. How you know I love you? I have to be honest with you. To me, it's not. There's nothing complex about it. It's just a matter of people looking up beyond what they see in the media. Because
but the thing is that he. The situation in complex, I mean, not in the sense of him staying or leaving in the last few months of his deal, but considering all his career at us and how things turned out to be with him, because it's so ironical for us, for the majority of the fan base, to have him at the top of the list of the players that they could get rid of at the time Frank was sacked, and the situation turned upside down for him, and he was one of the fan favorites in 1.5 years under Thomas Tuchel. So that's why I'm saying complex in terms of the sentiments and the perception of the fans regarding him. But the thing with Rüdiger is because I have personally passed that emotional stage of the thing, because I have accepted the fact that he is gone now. He isn't a Chelsea player anymore, and this is the crucial thing to keep in mind, and we have to look forward. But if we go back in time, I don't think that media reports have helped, because instead of clarifying the situation, they have made it worse in the eyes of the fans. There are many contradictions, and also I more or less agree with you with that when you say that Rüdiger somewhat added fuel to the fire with that sort of speech and the interview he had given before he officially left for Madrid. But what I think is that there is a sort of blame between both parties in this case. No one is blamed. I think sanctions wouldn't haven't made any sort of significant difference, because I saw a sort of strong reluctance to him in terms of signing for us again, especially the reports that we offered him £230,000 a week, which would make him the second highest paid defender in the league after John Stones, if I'm not wrong, and the highest paid defender in the history of the club, and he still rejected that. So that's the point where I would excuse the board. But the problem is that I have a sense of feeling that the board has acted late. In the maybe they have thought that Rüdiger would come to terms with a sort of with something near to £200,000 a week, and seeing his reluctance, they have increased their offer. But maybe it was late, and he was a sort of offended with a lack of activity from the club before the new year, because I don't find a reason why a player should lie about such a crucial thing, that he wasn't contacted by the club from September, from August to December, because it's not acceptable, and it's not something that somebody could lie about. But at the same time, I don't think it wasn't the right time for things to settle and for him to sign a contract, because we have to remember that he except the Premier League, won everything with us. So every trophy that can fulfill a player. So he wasn't making a sort of career jump from a team that doesn't win, but he showed the potential. It wasn't a sort of move from Roma to Chelsea, as he did in 2017, but he should have been between a choice of the team where he won the Champions League and another very prestigious team. But he made the choice look easy, and this isn't only something that happens with Rüdiger. You have many players that go after the facade and after the superficial perspective of the things. They don't have the awareness of how will I adapt, because we have to remember that he has shined for us only in his 1 year and a half, last 1 year and a half of the deal, where we specifically played at the three at the back, while Carlo Ancelotti is a manager that hardly ever follows that system and goes with four at the back. So this is another intriguing aspect to see how will he adapt there, and how will he make the switch from playing as a left center back.
Let's just
the overall is it's a messed story in the sense that it's something to blame him partly for the fact that he was so reluctant even when the club upped their offer. But at the same time, I can't ignore blaming the club a bit due to a lack of activity, I feel. And I trust Rüdiger for that, because I don't think that there are aspects that a person should lie in this case. Where I don't blame the club, for example, is Christensen's case, where the offer was made and he was...
We get to that. We get to Christensen. We're still on the Rüdiger right now. So overall, you don't think you blame him partly and you blame Marina partly, right? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I'll get back to you in a bit. Let me catch up with the chat again. Tobacco says, I wouldn't. Again, this comment right here is simply not the truth. You don't know why she's leaving. But before we knew, we talked about it during when we was the show was all about the sale process of the club. We talked about it here. We knew she'd leave, because no matter what happens, she wouldn't even accept to stay, because she moves on with Roman Abramovich, and that's what she does. And Roman, you could argue, like I said before, she's one of Roman's most trusted confidants. I hope I pronounced that word correctly before, just for y'all in the chat, highlights it and say something. This is simply not the truth. You're making it sound like she's being fired. I can assure you that's not the case. What if she's the one that decides she's done? She's not going to even stay through the transfer process, because that was the plan in the first place. But we get to that. We'll talk more. Audio noise in the background, I'm not sure. Let me know if it's still happening. I think what usually causes issues on my end, I think I don't have it plugged in, so I wouldn't say me. I wouldn't blame Marina for Rüdiger, and they offered Rüdiger. The amount they offered him isn't my problem. That isn't my problem. Rüdiger has the right to decide to leave. The only issue I have with Rüdiger, he's made up his mind to leave. He never wanted to stay, and I can argue that to tomorrow. He's seen that he's going to make more money by leaving on a free, which was why even before the Euros, when interviewed, Rüdiger has always said he's not in a rush to renew. He will think about it after the Euros. Usually when a player wants to leave, even if the club doesn't make the move, you make the move to talk with the club, so you know what you're doing with your future. I did a video with Dan, then I even asked Dan, do you think Rüdiger intentionally let it come to this so that he'd have all the cards, or so that he'd get a chance to live on the free and make more money, because that is called a sign-on fee, 3-word sentence. It's huge money. He wouldn't get that if he stays at Chelsea, and I'm fine with it. But like I said, what I'm not okay with is the narratives that he engineered, that made people start pointing hands at Marina and also the club. That to me isn't okay. But that's, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and here, Limitless. Nice to see you again, brother. He said it's not our player. Anyway, we move on. We're here to talk about Marina anyway, just because people blame her. Some say she's brilliant. Some say she's nonsense, a nuisance to the club. Some call her all sorts of names. To the measure you'd start suspecting. Some of them are what I don't want to talk about right now, but that's, by the way, blue morning, my people. Been a while, that's the truth. In life are no limits. Nice to see you again. I hope you're well. I haven't seen you in a while indeed. Petr Cech will be at DOM. That happens, I take it. I think he listen, and I think he's gained some knowledge, to be able to do that. It's not only one person's fault he left. It's the whole club's fault. They did not do enough. You could argue that, but the question remains, that the player did he really want to stay? That's the question you have to answer yourself, Limitless. And to me, I'd say no. And if you listen to his interview after his presentation, it's the same too, if you ask me. City offered Genteri double money. He stayed. You love the club. You love it. Rüdiger said Ancelotti, what's the difference? That's something that triggered me. I said, okay, we have to talk about Marina and we have to talk about Rüdiger. People should stop blaming Marina for that. Rüdiger had already made up his mind to leave this club long time ago, knowing that he gets sign-on fee, which is quite a lot, and I don't blame him.
Coach, can I say something?
Yes.
Let's also remember that Rüdiger is a family man. You can't leave money on the table when it gets to a point where you know that he's, I think, 29, or he just entered 29. You can't leave money on the table when it gets to a certain time. This is going to be his biggest payday of his career at the moment, which is understandable that he's getting it. He's he's an ambassador to, I think, Senegal. He's trying to put food on the table for his family, and not just his family.
I think it's Togo, his birthplace, his father's home country. But go ahead. Not just his family. He has other people who depend on him, so you can't really expect him to leave money on the table because of Chelsea. Chelsea is not like maybe his childhood club, his dream club that he was like, okay, he needs to stay. His signing bonus is quite a lot. I think his signing bonus, if Chelsea were to even pay him 350k a week, his signing bonus, it wouldn't be enough, because it would just be 2 years.
3 years or 4 years. His signing bonus alone, besides the salary that is going to get weekly at Real Madrid, his signing bonus alone is going to be like his 4 years wage at Chelsea if he was to stay. And you can't blame him for leaving. You also can't blame the club for not offering him more, because at the end of the day, Chelsea are not going to offer him a signing bonus to renew his contract. I don't know if it works that way, if you can pay.
Yeah. Remember, Rüdiger at one point was in poor form. He was such in poor form that even my friend, what's his name? It's not Kishan. It's not Ishan. I remember his name. Wrote an article titled something like, "Of course, it's time. It may well be time for Rüdiger to move on." You get my point? That was how bad he was then. And if you ask him, he'd let you know he agrees. He was whatever they say he was then. He was in such a poor form that he was actually at one point, I think, Frank Lampard banished him. But that's by the way. And again, there's so many factors. You just mentioned, you made a very good point. At 28 or 29, how old is he right now? This is his opportunity. This is his biggest payday. He has to take it, because Chelsea will never offer him that. Even at 350, he will still not make enough of what he will get from the sign-on fee plus his weekly salary at Real Madrid. But people don't look beyond the fact that he left. Here's some delicious comment from my brother here. He says, "I will miss Rudiger's signature drive the ball forward from our own side to to attack. That is one thing I will never forget myself. Go ahead, finish your thoughts. Yeah, go ahead.
Money-wise, if we're giving him the money excuse, how far off was Chelsea to Real Madrid's offer?
They can measure
Chelsea
it if you're putting everything together. Go ahead, Louisa.
Chelsea are offering to pay Rüdiger more than he's going to weekly, more than he's going to receive at Real Madrid. But here's the thing: his signing fee, is about 40 million.
End of the contract. What do you think the difference was? Like, throw the signing fee in there as well, and over the time of the length of the contract, what did it equate to? Do you think?
What's your point, Declan? Help us here.
Well, my point is that Chelsea offered him enough to feed his family, right?
Mm-hmm.
He left. It wasn't purely about money, right? He thought he would achieve more in a Real Madrid team than a Chelsea team that was with a lot of young players. So to say, oh well, this is his last contract, yeah, that's correct. End of the day, those two contracts that were offered weren't that far apart. So if it was pure greed that he picked, a few extra million more, right? Or the Chelsea one could have balanced out over the length of the contract, right? Maybe, but I'm not going to give him the out that the phrases you guys use, that he has to feed his family, this and that. The difference on two contracts was quite a bit. I mean, it wasn't enough, the difference. They're still very similar, and it would have balanced out. So he would have got the type of money that he's getting from both clubs. This is more about what's happening at the club. And I think there's more to it. I think there's been Rüdiger stories for a number of seasons now. And I think he there was one stage we were going to sell him. So I think there's way more to it than to him just, well, he needs to feed his family. Because if it's purely financial, then it's just greed. Then it's just greed that he just wanted money up front, and we didn't give him the money because he wanted.
I wouldn't call it greed.
He wanted money for his agents, for his charity.
Remember, Declan. I'll let you continue if you don't mind. Should I go ahead?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it greed. Remember, I said this. Football is business to the players as much as it is business for the club. You get that? So forget this player saying, in most cases you hear players who are on a very high wage at Chelsea saying, I'm not going anywhere, I'm staying to fight my place. In other words, I'm staying to earn my dough, to earn the money. Because maybe some other club won't pay them as much. So let's just come back to the topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know every player is not a mercenary, yeah? And we want to believe that players do not just purely play for money completely, right? So if Rüdiger, you don't want to call it greed. If he left because just on money, it was just on money. You know what I mean? To change clubs is a big deal for someone, right?
That's why I said you wouldn't call it greed. Football is what he does for a living.
Okay, so then shouldn't we? Shouldn't you want players then, right? That aren't going to end up like Rüdiger? Should we want players that also we treat them well, we give them the good wages, right? But also want to play for Chelsea, right? Should that be taken into account? Like, should we give more emphasis to our academy players who want to retire at Chelsea? Do you know what I mean? Or should we? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, every player, and think about this, yeah? He played against Real Madrid. He was part of the team that dominated Real Madrid. They weren't levels above us. He wasn't going to a better team. He was going to a club with stature, right? With history. But in terms of the squad, it wasn't levels behind us. He wasn't going for upgrade. He left for financial. And we don't want to be in that situation where we just get players and they keep going. Even we lost Hazard to the same situation, yeah? So then maybe we should be praising, and Mason Mount gets a lot of flack for it. And that's why half our fan base is split, because they see players that do come from the academy do not want to go to Real Madrid, right? The dream is to be at Chelsea. They're living their dream. So maybe maybe as much as I like Rüdiger as well, a lot of things point to some of the troubles at the club, and for money, if that's what he left for, then I'd rather have someone like Chalobah play, because I know Chalobah, if he gets to such a level, he doesn't want to leave. Do you know what I mean? And maybe we should start praising that more, because I see the fan base actually going against it. And then you see the Rudiger situation, and then everyone's trying to point fingers. It was Marina, it was someone, it was this and that. He has to feed his family. It's all about this. Mate, you know what? I just want to see players that want to play for Chelsea, that want to do or die, and that if Chelsea ever got in trouble, that they'll take a wage cut. You know that type of level or pride to play. Because
do they exist these days?
Well, I'll start from the academy players, right? You know that they're living their dream. Their dream is to actually play for the club. Then there's also players that were brought up seeing, the 2 decades of domination. There are players out there that actually saw the Roman Abramovich era. They grew up in that era and saw Chelsea as one of the best clubs of that time, of while they were growing up. There are players that their probably dream is to play for Chelsea, right? Because just figure the last 20 years is where the players are actually coming from now. This is the generation of players we're getting in when Chelsea were at the top level, one of the biggest clubs. So, I'm not giving Rüdiger an easy out. I will still call it greed if he wants. But maybe I'm talking about, if we're going to give Rüdiger all these great excuses, maybe we should emphasize on players that actually want to retire at Chelsea.
Here's the thing. We're talking about greed. We're talking about the reason he left, because people blame Marina for it. And like I said, I don't care whether he left for money or not. The only thing I dislike is the fact that he engineered a narrative that made people to even point more fingers at the club. Yeah,
I agree with you there, because he didn't take any of the blame. He shifted everything.
Yeah, something I want to add also. It made it look like the club were the ones that did not value him, and he wanted to go somewhere else where he was valued.
Yeah,
the whole fan base was convinced that Chelsea weren't offering him the money. Everyone also. Yeah, go on.
Now,
I was just going to say, because it created a storm, because the narrative was that Chelsea weren't giving him the contract, because it started out that Rüdiger wants 200k and that we didn't offer it to him, that apparently we offered him a low wage, and then everyone started attacking every other player that was on a higher wage because of how bad the other players were performing and how good Rüdiger was performing. So the narrative actually spread like wildfire to other players, and he started all that, and it went on for a long time, argued a long time. Do you know what I mean? It was. You're right, Coach. He didn't take no responsibility to say,
I wanted to leave.
It's been a great time, whatever. He didn't say nothing. He didn't even say the real reasons, and maybe he
just played
That's
with
why
the emotions of the fans, and it worked.
Yeah.
He told
and
the
I feel like
story.
there was more. There was more at the club, more behind the scenes.
Yeah. So, but that's, by the way, I'm going to catch up with the chat. Nick, are you okay with your connections? I was calling you before to speak, but you get the chance again after IBZ speaks. Let's say says, help me understand. I thought every free agent gets a sign-on bonus. Why wasn't Chelsea offering one to him? IBZ, can you take on that? But before IBZ comes in, here's my response to you. It just wouldn't make sense. And you're setting a dangerous precedent if you ever do that. Go ahead, IBZ.
Sorry. What was that question again?
The question on the screen, he says, Limitless says, help me understand. I thought every free agent gets a sign-on bonus. Why wasn't Chelsea offering one to him?
Because he's not a free agent at Chelsea. He's still under contract, and obviously
exactly. Even if there's a way to offer him one, would you do it?
Well,
they still offer it though.
Yeah, yeah,
for
they
some
do, but
players.
yeah,
Yeah.
they will offer it like you re-signing. It's like a new signing again, isn't it? So obviously they will add a bit of that
It,
incentive in it.
yeah, it's still balanced out. Chelsea still offered him a higher
But
wage.
is this
It's just
something?
that
Yeah,
he
is
was
this
gonna.
something that
Yeah.
makes sense? Easy, you let me know. And overall, while you are at it, let me know. Do you blame Marina for Rudiger leaving, or do you think otherwise?
I mean, in terms of his contract situation, it is what it is in this situation. In terms of, I believe a few players took advantage of the situation that we found ourselves in with the sanctions and stuff, and used it as a you could say a cop out to secure their immediate securities in their future where they'll be playing. Notwithstanding, like a famous, a radio personality that I listen to a lot said the players' wages would never been affected in this situation. Their money would always still be correct amidst all the sanctions. So you could argue there was a bit of a cop out, players using this as an advantage to come out. Now Rudiger's situation, I believe it started before the sanctions were actually imposed in terms of deals or whispers that he will be leaving. If he talks like a dog, looks like a dog, it's a dog. Rudiger wasn't going to stay. I don't believe he ever had the intention to stay, because if he did have the intention to
Thank
stay,
you.
we will still have him here till today, signing the dotted line as we are out of the sanctions that we are in. Obviously, it is what it is. Obviously, the player has signaled that he wanted to uh, uh, play for a prestigious club. Ancelotti is the winner for you. That's fair enough. That's what football is also.
That's another comment. Can you please say that again, IBC? That's another comment to highlight. At least Hazard did not hide his own. Even when he
No,
was still at Chelsea, he didn't hide it. He clearly said he was always wanted to play for Real Madrid, and he was
yes,
respectful. He said, if it
yes,
doesn't work out, I'll stay. Blue looks good on me, and I'm sure white will look something like that. But this
yeah.
guy played us all, played with the emotions of the Chelsea fan base, and now turned the fans against Marina and the club. And now we're hearing the truth because he
Yes.
has the white shirt on. Go
I
ahead.
well, yeah. In regards to Marina, I was never. He could never have made my decision on Marina. This is Marina. This is director of European Football Awards 2021. At so she's good at what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, again, I just believe that the situation we found ourselves in was a very good excuse for a lot of players. Well, I say a lot, probably just Rudiger and Christensen, you could argue as well, Lukaku, Alonso, a lot of players using that as an excuse to secure their immediate futures elsewhere because of the uncertainty. If he wanted to stay at Chelsea, trust me, he would have stayed at Chelsea. Is Marina to blame? No. Again, we couldn't. From what I understood, talks were before the sanctions hit. Talks were somewhere ongoing, or the
Mm-hmm.
offer was put on the table. Rudiger probably holding out, not happy with the wages offered, so he wanted to see what his options were in January. What team will come in and offer me something more, and what options will I have for the remaining 6 months of the season, in which I'll be able to make my decision, which was done very, very well. Now, we didn't have the sanctions, what excuse would Rudiger have is to not wanting to sign a new deal? We will never know, because we had the sanctions, and it prohibited us from going into negotiations with players to secure their future with the club. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword in this situation. Marina's not to blame. You can't. It's very easy to blame somebody when things are not going well without looking at the perspective of things.
Mm-hmm.
So in this situation, greed. I wouldn't. You see players like Tony. Their characters are so. He's got a very strong character. I wouldn't want to say, oh, he was always going to leave and he was very unprofessional, this, that, and the third. No, I would have he even amidst his uncertainty at the club, he was putting in a shift. His performances didn't drop. His head didn't sway, what have you. But it's how you've orchestrated it is what we will now start to question. I'll mirror what the brother said, the Clad. At the end of the day, I want players that are, wanting to stay at Chelsea to play for Chelsea in it. I don't want players that are here looking for it's a stepping stone. Oh, when Real Madrid come calling, it's a call you do not deny or you do not
Mm-hmm.
reject. I don't want to hear all of that. I want players that will die for the club. Not literally, but you know what I mean? Put on that shirt with pride. I'm staying, take a wage cut if things, go pear-shaped. Obviously, in this day and age, it's very hard to ask such of individuals when the money that's been swirled around these guys are eye-watering. So I would probably expect that from Mason Mount, Reece James. That's about it. Probably Kai, if he sees the love, but I don't see that type of loyalty with players this time around. It'll be a big ask. Rüdiger, again, good riddance. Thank you for your services. 29, 30. If we were to offer him a 3-4 year deal, would it be feasible enough at 300k a week? I mean, so you could say it's a bit, thank you for your services. Maybe the way you've orchestrated your exit, it's a bit questionable as to you making us feel that it's the board that wasn't, you know, on point with the negotiations when it was probably your own decision to leave entirely in the first place. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one to question his methods, but he's clear. He didn't give his the leg to stand on if you're coming up with this excuses and making it seem as if it is the board that wasn't quick enough to put the money on the table for you. So yeah, that's why I start with Rudiger. But again, I mean, we this is what Rudiger's gone, Lukaku's going. We need replacement. We need people that want to be here. We need people that want to be here. We need them.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly catch up with the chat and I'll come to Nick to let us know what he thought. Right now we have what he thinks, so to speak. Now we have 49 likes while we have around 66 people watching. Please keep liking the video. Let's shoot at least 200 likes by the end of the show. I know we can do better than that. It takes just a second to like the video. Now, Osil says Rüdiger made up his mind during the Frank Lampard era. That may well be the case. When Chelsea, again, if you're not talking, can you mute your phone? When Chelsea was willing to let him go, all other contributions from the panelists are included. What a way to sum it up. Many more. Again, I say it's a limitless. Chelsea were sanctioned before a sign-on fee. Please pay attention. He is still now under contract. Could have waited for Boehly. That's one thing again. He could have waited for Boehly to come in and see what he has to offer to him. I think the man had already made up his mind to leave the club, which is there's nothing wrong in it. But that narrative that he engineered is something that I do not like. Junior says, good afternoon, Blues. White Rich, good afternoon to you too. We haven't seen in a while. Good morning, Kachila. How you doing? I day very well, my brother. How are you today? I hope so you day well and nice to see you. And by the way, Choma Dalo, sorry, I couldn't speak because somebody else on the panel was speaking then when I highlighted your message, but I'll get a chance to do so later on. Lee says, you should all know the real truth. Marina doesn't agree with selling Gallagher and Broya. You will all see Todd selling both players. How do you know that? You gotta let us know. Maybe you should be our insider you should be the insider for Chelsea Perspective. If you get this correctly, I'll be looking for you. Maybe come knocking on your door to strike a deal with you. But that's, by the way, says White Marina Granovskaia and leave Chelsea. I just don't know. Says the day Chelsea was kicked out of the Champions League, he made a comment about Benzema, the bench. I was like, this guy. Who are you talking about exactly? Rüdiger. Oh, there you go. Chama Dalun. Nice to see you again. Declared it was about the sign-on fee for him and his agent. That's just that. That just seals it. And there's nothing wrong about it. But just go and shut up and just say thank you to the fans. And the fan thanks you because they loved you. They love you here. They loved you when you were still here. But don't just trying to point, to get them to point fingers at each other. That isn't okay for me. Coming back to the panel, Nick, have I asked you whether you think it was Marina's fault?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Have I asked you that before?
Yeah, no, you haven't asked me. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, okay, your turn.
You know
whether you think it was Marina's fault?
Yeah, no, it wasn't Marina's fault, but we all thought it was. Even you, me, a lot of other fans. We thought it was Marina not doing her job, and that's what we thought.
Did you say me? Did you count me in
you
that?
said it as well that time.
No. Ask everybody in the chat. I have never thought it was Marina's fault.
Yeah, at the beginning, we all thought it was Marina.
All right, Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, so, even me. I said, I blame Marina, but we were proved wrong. after I heard everything, from what Rudiger had to say, it's very obvious it wasn't Marina's fault. We blame the poor lady for nothing. Rudiger, he wanted to leave, and he didn't want to say he wanted to leave because of the fans. He wanted to go, with us still loving him. We still do. I still love Rudiger. I will watch him for Real Madrid. But, he should come out and say the truth. Like you said, he could have waited for Boehly to come in, but he decided not to. So, yeah. It's not Marina. It was Rudiger, I'm afraid. I'll go back on my words. I was the first to blame Marina, if you remember. And quite a few of us did. Bobby, everyone, we were blaming Marina, but it wasn't her. Rudiger, wanted to go in the end. He didn't want to wait. He knew there was a new owner coming. He knew Boehly was coming very soon, but he decided to go. I see his point. He wanted to, get his contract sorted out so he knows where he is. He didn't want to wait. I see his point as well, but if he was true Chelsea, he would have waited for Boehly. And he let me down.
Yeah. Again, you hit the nail right on the head, as DJ Sav would say. If he was serious about saying, he would have waited to see what Todd Boehly had to offer before he decides to leave. And like Choma Joseph said in the chat, Joseph, he'd already made up his mind to leave the club. So before we move on to talking about whether it was her fault that Andreas Christensen left us, I want to say to the people in the chat, thank you for 52 likes. Again, it is not easy. You guys are absolute legend. Let's keep liking the video. Please keep liking the video. We're shooting 400 likes before the end of this particular show, because 30 minutes after this one, we'll go to the next show, which we're talking about the transfers Australia. So right now, please keep liking the video. And if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. We've also gained a few subscribers today, but we're looking to gain at least, let's say 50 subscribers by the end of this particular show. So please keep liking the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Now, coming back, let me see.
Let me talk about Christensen, Coach.
Yeah, we have when we start.
Can I say something final on the matter? Because the reason I thought it's a balance, I think, situation regarding the blame also has to do with, it's also a personal take, but he admitted it himself, I think, after an FA Cup semi-final or even the final itself, that the sanction wouldn't have made any difference. And I think it's genuine, that I'm 120% sure that he wouldn't have renewed even if we weren't sanctioned. It was just something that he would use in his favor to somewhat excuse himself for the departure. But in this regard, but where I blame Marina is the fact that I wanted to see him tight-handed earlier, so that if an offer, I think, closer or higher than 200 million came before the new year, similar to what Liverpool had done with Salah, and he still has refused, and they have the argument now to say that we are doing everything, but this guy doesn't want to be here. It could have been more or less the same case if we had followed the same strategy, also, let's say, psychologically wise, with Rüdiger. So before the New Year's, he would have had the sort of more than 200 million, 200,000 pounds a week on the table. And now he wouldn't have written that article to say that the board didn't contact me for 4 months. And we have all known that the board made everything, and most importantly on time, to convince him and to renew and to let's say not consider the sanctions factor as an excuse. So the parties, this is where I board. While the blame for Rüdiger goes because of the fact that he seemed so late with his decision, and the fact that also, as you said, for that false narrative that he created, and I'm not denying that. But more than the agent's fees, there are also times when footballers see football as a kind of Hollywood as vanity. And I think one of the reasons, besides the sign-on fees, is also the fact that it's just based on the facade of the name that Real Madrid have, and just have followed that road because he's 29 now and doesn't want to regret the opportunity of refusing them just in principle, more than finding those nonsense reasons, in my opinion, that he wanted to play for Ancelotti and this and that, because these are sort of diplomatic talk. You see how Real Madrid present the players. It's more of a show rather than an actual sort of unveiling. So I think it's a lot. That's why I said it's complex, because there were things that the board could have excused himself in the front of everyone if they had come close to Rüdiger's demands earlier, exactly as Liverpool are doing with Salah, without trying to compare the contribution of the players during those years, because Salah has been fairly consistent at Liverpool, while Rüdiger has more or less done well enough only in his 1 year and a half, and this has complicated things. But I think that if we had intervened in time in terms of offering him closer to what he wanted before the new year, then he wouldn't have had any opportunity to find other excuses.
All right. Again, that's a good argument, but we'll get to that. I think we'll be rounding up the Rüdiger talk and moving on to Andreas Christensen very soon. But I have to give those people the chart, those in the chat, the opportunity, so the people that are watching will see what they have to say. Again, Todd is selling Broja to West Ham for 35 million, and he's swapping Gallagher for the Brazilian at Everton and plus cash. Todd will ruin us. Again, big up to my brother CFC Fahim. I know your show just ended, and thank you for finding time to join here. If you haven't, please go check out CFC Fahim's YouTube channel. Great content, great individual, and over time has become a brother. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. True Blue, I don't fault him. It's all business. Exactly. I don't fault him for leaving. I'm going to repeat myself. I don't blame Rüdiger to any measure for leaving. I only blame him for the narrative he engineered. That's not good at all. That is just finding someone to scapegoat. We understood when Hazard, or when we learned Hazard, his dream has always been to play for Real Madrid. He said it openly, and we didn't take offense. We still loved him, and we would have loved Rudiger even if he said, "Okay, I'm going to leave," and just say bye. And we said bye to him, but not to do that. He played with the emotions of the Chelsea fan base. And it works exactly as he wanted it. Let's see if there's anything else. I think I'm just going to skip to the bottom. And any subsequent Kachila West, I accept the difference in money. Okay, I get your argument there. Rüdiger is a very vocal player, a leader. Rumors came out, Lampard dismissal and all that. Again, I'm going to skip to the bottom. And when next something comes in, I will try and read it. And apologies if I miss your content. I'll try to read the next one. But remember, I'm doing this alone. If I try to read all the comments, then we will be here for 5 days and will not be able to catch up. But we're working on getting a studio engineer who will be highlighting, comments that are aligned with what we're talking, and I'll read them. Again, that's, by the way, big up to you, Libel. Nice to see you. Now, before we move to Andreas Christensen, I want to say thank you to people in the chat for 57 likes. Remember, we're shooting for at least, let's say 200 likes by the end of this particular show before we take a break, like 30 minutes, and go for the next show. So please keep liking the video. We can do better than that. If you haven't, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Right now, I'm going to end the poll for Andreas Christensen. And the poll asks the question, was it Marina's fault that Rüdiger left Chelsea? Right now, it is 50-50. Again, it's difficult. I'm going to end it at one point. More people said no, but I'm going to end it right now so that I can put up the poll for Andreas Christensen. Coming on to that of Andreas Christensen, Nick, okay, you were in a hurry to start up with that, or whether it was Marina's fault that Andreas Christensen left Chelsea Football Club. Nick, you go ahead. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, it's a different situation with Christensen. And I don't blame Christensen only because, he listened to his father. His father wanted him, he didn't want to, he told him not to accept the 140 contract that Chelsea offered. It wasn't Christensen. He was ready to sign that contract, but his father stepped in and told him not to, and everything went wrong. Then he started making mistakes, and in the end, it was the best solution. He had to go, and it wasn't Christensen though. I don't blame the guy. He done great for us. I really liked him. Especially the last 2 seasons, he showed us what he can do. I always knew he was a great player. I always backed him when I watched him live. He's good. But if he didn't listen to his father and relations, he would have still be at Chelsea, and alongside Silva and ready to replace Silva, which is a shame because I really wanted him to stay and be the next guy to replace Thiago Silva, because he was that sort of player. He could have replaced him, but they mixed him up too much. So I can't blame him too much, but I do blame his father. I blame him for listening to his father, but what can you do? It's his dad. He acted like a 10-year-old in a way. He should be more. He's 26. Should be more sensible than that. But this is football. A lot of players, especially young players, they do listen to their agents, fathers, sisters, or whatever. They do that. In the old days, they didn't have that problem. That's why it never happened in our day. It never happened with other players. They didn't listen. They listened to the manager, and if they were happy, they wanted to be at the club, they gave it all for the club, and they didn't care what their dad or sister said. It's different now. I know times have changed, and it's changed for the worse because football spoiled these players. Money has spoiled the game, and and that's facts. Before the players never got this crazy money, but they performed and showed how they fought for that team and that shirt, that badge they wore. Every single Chelsea player in the 70s, 80s, and the 90s even, they played for that badge. Even the players who came in, like Zola, Neil Johnson, Hasselbank, they played for that team because they loved that team, man. So it's a lot different now. I'm just waiting for the day, things change a bit for the better. Then, because we spoiled the Premier League, Sky Sports. They spoiled the game. They really spoiled the game really bad. Not just with players, but changing the laws every season or every 6 months. We have a new law. We don't know what's handball or what's a penalty. We don't know what's offside these days.
Yeah, so let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to Christensen, Nick.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah, I blame him and I don't blame him because he listened to his grown-ups. He should have had more sense than to do that because he was ready. He accepted the 140. He accepted it, and then his dad goes, no, let's try and get a bit more. So it's all about money. So that is no good. We don't need players at the club if they're going to just want the money. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Nick. I've learned how much you hate how much the game have changed, even for 5 subs and all that. But we'll talk about that for another day, in another show. Again, before I go to Declare, and I'll take it from Declare to IBZ to Louisa, and then to Helgi when he comes back in. I want to quickly thank people for 60 likes. Now we have just 40 more likes. We need just 40 more likes to get to 100 likes, and do it, take it from there. And we've gained a few more subscribers. Again, if you haven't, please keep liking the video. Again, like I said before, I prefer likes. I prefer you to like the video than donate to the channel. The likes do more for the channel than the donations. And thank you very much for all your support. It's not easy. I'll be ungrateful to say I'm not thankful. I am thankful for 60 likes, and I'm thankful for 3,000 subscribers. That's not easy. We're shooting for 4,000 subscribers, and we hope to get there as soon as possible. So if you haven't, please like the video. And also do subscribe to the channel. Just Viola says, no, it was not Marina's fault with Andreas Christensen. I couldn't take the poll. Okay, no worries. Lee, okay, he's talking. Someone else in the chat. How the hell could it be Marina's fault? Christensen agreed 3 contracts, and Dean signed them. He like Rudiger wanted a sign-on fee for him, and he's a gent, which makes sense. But we'll come to that again. Yeah, what you said there. Christensen accepted 3 offers and moved the gate. Does anybody think Ibaka offered more? I don't think so. Will I miss either of AC Andreas Christensen? No. Are they legend? No, they're not. Again, don't level them legends. I don't. Repeat. Because of Marina, Phantom is now a form fan. Good to see. I hate the Sky Sports, but they are nothing to do with rule changes. Yep. Okay. Until next week, you said you was okay. He's talking to him now. Again, people keep liking the video. Now, for me, I heard also with what has happened in terms of his stomach issues. I heard something regarding mental well-being. I hope he's fine mentally. But if we call Thibaut Courtois a snake, then Andreas Christensen should be called an anaconda. He's bigger than he's no basic snake. He's an anaconda, given the way he handled, his situation. But that's, by the way, coming back to the panel, Declan, your thoughts on this brother on the screen.
Anaconda is probably the way I would have put it when I was thinking to do it. If everyone's trying to give him outs or trying to see some reason, Christensen did one of the worst things you could do, because not only he played the club for more and more contracts so he can get a better deal. He made his mind up. That he was leaving for whatever reason.
When you heard him recently say he knew what he was going to do all the while.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He knew he wasn't signing. The only reason he was doing it so he can get other clubs or Barca to give him a better offer. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, while we needed him and needed him at the most, he pulled out a lot of games.
Yeah.
People try to give him out. Oh, he's got stomach problems. He's got mental health. You know what he did? He had guilt. He had massive guilt on what he was doing. He didn't want to play. He knew he was leaving, and his heart wasn't in it. At least Rüdiger played top performance, put in 10 out of 10 performances, and knew he was leaving. Christensen did not. Christensen bailed on the day of the final. Like he could have said, "Boss, put me on the reserves, and I don't want to play anymore." He could have said that, yeah. So we put anyone else. No, he was in the team, and then it almost felt like sabotage when you don't want to play, when you pull out. You ruined Tuchel's plans. Silva had to play way more games than he did. He still couldn't see out his last year of contract with the club, and he actually was more of a hindrance than not, because he had more bad performance than he did. Pulling out on finals day is almost is 10 times worse, and you should have just pulled out yourself beforehand. So this guy, he's an anaconda, and the way he's gone about things, and I'm glad he's gone then, because I don't need players like this going to all the things we were talking about before.
Yeah. Again, brilliant comment right there. IBC, you talk about this brother on the screen.
Just like the club said, literally. I mean, I keep saying it. If you want to be here, I'm telling you, you will stay, my guy. You know what I'm trying to say? If you were offered, it's not like the difference is different from Rüdiger. You were offered, it looks like you agreed, but your head swayed you to change your decisions because you felt you could hold the club to ransom. Bearing in mind, you knew the situation that the club was in terms of sanctions, and you still, it's. If you want to be where you are, you will stay where you are. No one's forcing you out. No one's put you on no transfer list. Your contract just ended, and we're looking to see how you can extend that. And you decide, oh yeah, you don't want to sign. All right, don't sign, and then pull out of games, and you don't want to be here, bro. So you respectfully move. So in this case, I I remember weeks back, I kind of said that, oh, because of Barcelona's situation, that deal may, and our situation turns to be, we've crossed the line with the Todd Boehly, we could look into, I don't know, clearing the air and finding the middle ground, try and re-enter talks. But that ship has sailed, and it looks like it should sail, because at the end of the day, you don't want to play that don't want to be. He don't want to be here. He don't want to be here, and we need players that want to be here and hungry. So Christensen, what hurts with Christensen? Because let's keep it about Christensen. Who gave you a platform? What platform did you have before Tuchel came in? Do you know what I mean? Lampard didn't give you a platform. Tuchel gave you the platform. When Tuchel come in, he used every single one of the squad list, rejuvenated Rüdiger to become, if not the best centre back at our club. You brought Christensen back into the fold to make everyone realise the potential that this kid actually has, and what after 6 months to a year, it's whatever. So yeah, the lack of gratitude is definitely there. So you have to. He has to go. He's kind of burnt his own bridge now, and like he's left a sour taste in Chelsea fans. If he wants to come to the bridge, there'll be boos. And what is that the legacy you want to live for yourself? You've been there since 2012. You've been there since you're a kid. You've been there since you're a kid. Now you're of age. Now you passed your new. Now you're leaving on free. I mean, everyone, you go where you want as players. I mean, this ain't a life contract. You know what I mean? It's like a job, innit? If you're in a job and another job offers you good, better money or what have you, yeah, by all means, do what's best for yourself, innit? That's. But there's a way you leave your bed. My mum used to say the way you leave your bed is where you're gonna lie in it. So if you leave it rubbish, you're gonna come back and you're gonna find it rubbish. So Christensen is leaving his bed the way it is. Trust me, we will never forget. So good riddance.
He's ruined his legacy at Chelsea, if you ask me.
What legacy did he even have in the first place? What legacy? You were part of the Champions League winning squad. Now we'll look back at this over the years and look at the player list. I'll just look at you like you're done out here. Like, what did you bring to the table? I rate Raul Morelos over you. I rate Jose Bosingua over you. I rate, you know what I'm trying to say? I rate these players over your existence. So we will now have to say good riddance. Christensen, that's it. I mean, it's a bit sad because he was one player that I thought, you know what, he could be commanding and staying with us for many years. And it's sad that it's had to end like this. But what can we do? We have to move on and get players that really need to be hungry here. We offered him deals where you were swayed by your dad. If you really wanted to stay, you would have stayed. You would take whatever, you know what I mean? You will stay because it's Chelsea, innit? But good luck wherever you want to go. With Christensen really a bit that disappointed me more than Rüdiger. Rüdiger's he doesn't owe us anything as much as Christensen does. Rüdiger, you could say, okay, yeah, man, thank you, you're a journeyman from Roma to Chelsea to Madrid. Yo, that thing, well done, innit? You done your thing and you played absolutely well up until the uncertainty. You were still putting in a performance like you're trying to win a new contract. Rüdiger's goal against Brentford, those, you were putting in a shift, but it's how you are. It shows how you are as a person. The Clad said it was probably guilt. When you're guilty conscience will eat you inside. He couldn't, after doing all that rubbish, you think he's ready to come out on the pitch on the final and play. His guilty conscience will not allow. Because people will know he feels pressure. So yeah, just please leave. Someone will come in. Trevor, you see that boy Trevor? Watch him. You watch Trevor, innit? Trevor will take that opportunity and shine, innit? You see what I'm saying? I'm not.
I hope he does.
Bad. I believe he will. I believe he will, because that's somebody that knows when opportunity is handed to you, you take it with all hands. You know what I'm trying to say to you? You take it. So as one door closes, my brother, another one opens. Christensen, thank you and bye-bye. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, great input, and thank you for taking the time to add that. I'm going to catch up with the chat, and I'll come to my co-host Louisa to give us her 2 cents on Andreas Christensen, the anaconda, because he's bigger than a snake. While I'm at it, I'm going to let you know, guys, we have 73 people watching, and we have just 64 likes, which means we need 36 more likes to get to 100 likes, and we can actually do that. So overall, for the people that have spoken, none of them thinks it was Marina's fault that Andreas Christensen left us, because we're here to review Marina's stay at Chelsea Football Club.
Never her fault. Never. Let's leave the poor lady alone, please. I beg. This woman.
Yes.
What? She tried. She's tried.
Yes. Yes, we'll get back to her. And 216 Basement Flips says players are bigger than the club. That's the problem. I think in this case, it isn't about player power. Maybe I don't understand what you mean about that, but you let me know if I misunderstood what you're trying to communicate. Just realize it. But if Christensen really has mental health issues, then I wouldn't judge him. But that is if it is the truth. If he has mental health issues, I think we'd hear about it before time.
Can I add
that's
something?
it. Yeah.
If he had mental health issues, if he had any issue that was preventing him to start games, why would Barca sign him?
Exactly.
Why would any club want to sign him?
Yeah, because he's a huge risk. Exactly.
Imagine being another club and go, well, we're going to buy this player, but he could at any time he could ask to go on personal leave because his mental health issue is too much for him, and he can go missing in games. Who's going to take on that risk, and especially a club like Barca?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Just to add to what the club just said. Yeah. Even if he did have mental health, why did he ask for a leave during the season? He didn't ask for leave. He was still attending training.
Yeah.
He was still around. So I'm not. Listen, we all have mental health issues. Not something you joke around, especially with football, because they got to deal with it differently than regular people of society. I understand. That's why you get the big bucks. That's why you get paid big bucks to fathom all of these situations. But I'm sorry, there's protocols in place. Chelsea have protocols in place. If you have mental health issues, there's nothing stopping you to speak to a player. Let's say, excuse me, I'm not feeling. My mental health right now is not stable. I need some time off at the club. What are you telling me? Chelsea's going to say no? Are you?
Oh, they would give him the best support. You're 100%
exactly. Right. No. It's exactly. So
yeah.
That's a bit of an insult. It's a bit of an insult. So he's going to go to Barcelona, or he's going to go to another club, and he's going to mental health is going to be on the cards? No way is it going to be on the cards. He's going to say, "Oh, brilliant club, I'm happy to be here." So we move.
Yeah. Here, the Bluetooth game says Christensen gave Messi his first goal against Chelsea, and that's just the truth. Again, it is his fault that we'll find him fault right now. I wouldn't blame anybody for pinpointing that point. Says Libo says if leaving, this guy pulled out of so many games, Cho will be better than Andreas Christensen. I think I agree. Glad. Yep. Old school again. I think he's talking to someone else. I'm not sure why he's mentioning that. I'm sorry, but there's no mental health issue here. This guy knew he wanted to leave. He said it. He said it a few days ago. He knew what he wanted to do all the while, which means he was just wasting the club's time. This guy knew what he wanted. He wanted to leave ages ago. I just wonder why the club couldn't penalize him. Why should he collect wages and refuse to play? Again, because he said he wasn't well, so you have to navigate a lot of a lot of stuff to get to that point of penalizing him. It's never straightforward. Mikhail says, "Big up Blues. 71 days to go. New board taking control. Hope for the best. Let's have some class, please." As we say a lot of goodbyes this summer. A good point there. That's a delicious comment. Christensen agreed to the contract, then bottled the contract 3 times. 3 times, not just once. At first, we thought maybe Rüdiger was going to be the one that would be problematic. He ended up being Andreas Christensen. I think just we all agreed, no mental irony. He went to a club that is waiting to see if they can pay him. And he's still in purgatory, if you ask me. That's the way I want to put it. He's not sure whether he's going there or not. Again, but we'll see. I wish him well. I don't wish him bad luck. That's just the truth. Now, he made too many mistakes, not just once. Libo says, what I want to change, coach, the atmosphere at the bridge. I want to hear the fans all the way in California. We need the bridge to be bouncing every game. I think we have to host a show where we talk about that strictly. True Blue, he destroys his own legacy. And like IBZ said, that's if he had one at Chelsea. That's just the truth. Again, it says True Blue Club record scorer Lampard surely makes the club legends list, regardless of toxicity. Stop putting words that I can't pronounce in your sentence, Mika. I hate that word, and truly I find it difficult pronouncing it. But that's by the way, in managerial career, again, he remains a legend, even though he denied Roman. But that's by the way, says that's why for me, from now on, whenever we could play, we needed to know if they have if the players have the desire and want to play for Real Madrid or Barca. Let's stay away from such players. A little research will show you can get players wearing a certain jersey when they were kids or something like that. Again, that's a giveaway that probably they tried to play for a certain club at a certain point in their career. At 16, Mason Mount's father said, leave Chelsea. He told his dad, no, this is my club and can make it here. This is a boyhood Portsmouth fan, but he loves Chelsea Football Club. He's Chelsea through and through, and he never gave up. And that's why we should respect Mount, give him something that's that he deserves in terms of his salary. But that's, by the way, Colin and Joe Liebel, do you represent Joe? Let us know. Mikhail, if Everton was a London area team, I would already be on Lampard's team. Okay? Christensen can't be replaced easily, so Chelsea fans do not feel any regrets for him leaving. We can get better players. Again, I get that argument right there. AC at his best was just a slightly above average. Here's the thing, I think we're just in denial right now. Was he a good player? He was. Was he full of mistakes? I've seen a few, and usually he takes time to recover from mistakes. But the truth is, I was hoping, because given the way he plays, he's a natural fit for that Thiago Silva role, and playing alongside Thiago Silva will probably prepare him to be ready to lead the back line when Thiago Silva resigns. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. I hope Broya, Colwell, Gilmore, Gallagher are all retained and given game time on that TT next season. And maybe you're not paying attention to what's going on out there. I'm sure you are. Mikhail Gilmore is Lampard's nephew. Again, Phantom again comes up with that. Again, I'm just going to go to the bottom. Welcome back, the Bluetooth again. Welcome back to you too. Nice to see everybody in the chat. Louisa, give us your 2 cents on what you think about Andreas Christensen, whether you think his departure was as a result of Marina's incompetence, or do you think it was never Marina's fault? But before we do that, we have 66 likes. Just how many more? Just 34 more to get to 100 likes. So please keep liking the video, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So go ahead, Louisa, give us your thoughts.
Sorry, coach. I'll be back in like 10-15 minutes. I'll be back.
No worries, brother. I understand.
Okay, definitely not. I do not think that Marina is at fault for the Christensen deal, because if we think about it, and even to me, you made some good points about him as a player and what you think he offered to the team. I didn't really see it like that, because I never really watched a game where I was like, oh, if Christensen wasn't available, this game would have gone south for us. I don't think it's a big miss, just that the whole situation, the only thing that is going to be a negative for him leaving right now is because of the people that we're going to be losing in defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Christensen, I don't think it was Marina's fault or the club's fault. I felt like Christensen kept shifting the goalpost when it came to his contract. They kept offering what he asked for, and then when it's time to sign, he asked for something else. So it just felt like he didn't really want to stay anymore, because if he wanted to stay, immediately they meet your offer, you sign the deal. Because I get leaving if they didn't meet your offer, but at the same time we met the offer, I think on 2 different occasions, and even offered the 3rd one and he still rejected it, which just seemed like he didn't want to stay anymore. He wanted to move on, which is completely understandable. It's an academy product, so it kind of made it feel like more personal, because if Christensen had no ties to Chelsea beyond maybe we bought him from another club and he has played for us like maybe 2-3 years, I don't think there will really be any outrage that he's trying to move to another club at this point. So I just feel like it just felt like it was time to leave, and this his situation of him not being available for selection during games in season just left a bitter taste, because I feel like the managers make plans, even though they don't usually like tell the players who is starting and who is going to be on the bench, like during practice, maybe usually like 24 hours before the game. It's They do make plans, and Christensen was among Thomas' plan throughout his I think around 18 months now. Throughout Thomas' time at Chelsea, Christensen was always among Thomas' plans. So when he wasn't available for game selection, I feel like he probably was giving Thomas like throwing a wrench into his plans, which is kind of sad because we were playing him. You want if you're moving for game time, that's understandable. If you But we're playing him. If you're moving for money, that's understandable. We're going to pay him the money he wanted. So it just felt like he wasn't honest with what he really wanted. And someone said, I don't know if it was declared, someone was talking about it's his guilt that was eating him up, and all the stomach issues he was having, which I completely agree with. I feel like it's his guilt that was making everything, all his problems worse.
Yep. Are you still there? It looks like your connection is coming in and out. Are you
No,
still there?
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's another great input. Anybody want to add anything to the Christensen talk? And if you look at the chat again, before I go and talk about the poll, we have 66 likes still. While we have 70 people watching, 70 plus actually. So if you haven't, take a second to like the video. We need just 34 more likes to get to 100 likes for this particular show. We'll take 30 minutes break and we come back to the strictly transfer show and end. And again, I will be out for a week. I'll be going on vacation, and hopefully, if every now and then, if I'm able to help my co-host here, Louisa, should be able to host the show whenever she has time. But whenever, if she has, if not, then I'll see if I can always do a short video to upload. But that's by the way. So please keep liking the video. The poll here asks the audience: was it Marina's fault that Christensen left at Chelsea? 31% says yes, and 69% says no. So I'm going to end the poll, which means a majority thinks it wasn't Marina's fault, and that's good to know. Again, this show is about a review of Marina's stay at Chelsea Football Club. So the next thing we're going to talk about here, let's talk about. I'm going to start with you, IBZ. The good stuff she's done for us, and how much she sold Eden Hazard to Real Madrid, how much she sold Alvaro Morata to Atletico Madrid, and Diego Costa back to Atletico Madrid also. So IBZ, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I've never had anything bad to say about Marina ever. She's been very good at negotiations. That's the thing. Getting rid of players that we feel, how are we going to offload? She gets a good deal for players that have not done, say, particularly well.
Yeah, and for instance, just quickly, we bought Diego Costa for 32 million and sold him back to Atletico Madrid for 50 million. We bought Morata for 57 million and sold them from Real Madrid and sold him to Atletico for 48.5. Plus, we've gotten some loan fees from him for practically, we didn't lose anything. Plus, he scored some goals. Hazard was bought for 32 million, but was sold to Real Madrid for 88.5 million with bonuses that could take it up to 130 million. So go ahead.
Exactly. When we won the Champions League, we just made a bonus there. We just made a bonus there just last season. When we sold Tammy Abraham, she put a clause in. There's a clause in that contract that we will buy back Tammy Abraham for a set price. If he kills it if he takes the absolute mick out of the Serie A for the next 2-3 seasons, at a set price, we have him. Even if his value goes up to 150, we can get it for 70. Can you imagine? So looking at that type of instinctive negotiation strategy is credit to her trade and how she implements stuff at Chelsea. When you look at how you say like her shrewd business in terms of making sure there was money enough, well, you could say Roman, but making sure there was money enough for Frank Lampard to use. She didn't spend Frank Lampard's money. Frank Lampard identified the players he wanted, and it was shrewd business. Timo Werner, hottest property in Bundesliga, top goal scorer, he's coming to Chelsea. Kai Havertz, wanted by Real Madrid, wanted by Bayern Munich, wanted by most top European clubs, comes to Stamford Bridge to work for Frank Lampard. Now you have to understand that role very quickly. Frank Lampard was very unproven. So how can Frank Lampard be trusted with these players to come and play, for him at the time? This is before we knew, what had gone on after. But the beginning of it, you have to credit Marina's input into that. She was very, very shrewd in that, getting the businesses over the line. So what are we saying here in terms of, are we okay? You can only get better, but we have to credit her. We have to give her credit. She's been with us since 2003. Just got promoted in 2016, 2013. She had, so she knows the club. She's been with the club. She identifies what the club needs. So yeah, wish her all the best. I will miss her. I really miss her.
I'll still come back to you, with what I think the final questions before we round off. But I want everybody, Nick, let me come to you, Nick, before I go to others. I know you just joined back. And Nick, give us your thoughts on how well Marina has done for us, how much she is sold. We bought Diego Costa for, and how much she sold him back again. If you want me to go through it again, we bought Costa for 32 million, and she sold him back to Atletico Madrid for 50 million. We bought Morata for 57 from Real Madrid. Morata went on loan to Atletico Madrid, so we've made some money from the loan deal. And she also sold him to them for 48.5, which means we didn't lose anything from Morata because he scored some goals too. We bought Hazard for 32 million, and then she sold him for 88.5 million with bonuses that could take it up to 130 million. And we know all the stories. Whenever Hazard wins something, we get a check from Madrid. So your thoughts on everything nice is done. If I missed anything, you added to it.
Yeah, Chilwell, what a buy, 80 million. We got him for 50. She done wonders for the club. I will miss Marina. She done great. She done more good than bad. It wasn't, the players coming in wasn't her signings. That's down to the scouts and the manager and the board. Marina was just for the money side. And she done her best. She done really great business for us. She made millions for Chelsea. So, I thought she might stay, for the rest of the season and live after, but looks like she's decided to go now. And it's common sense, when the new owner comes, they want to go. Most of the old board will go, and Boehly will have his people in. But, for Marina, I will never forget Marina, great lady, great supporter of the club, and I still think she's a Chelsea fan, like Roman. Well, Roman is a fanatical, but she's not far behind, because I've seen her live, and I see how much she meant for her. Even the ex-players, the old players, when we had memorials and that, she was there. She didn't miss nothing, and she joined in with the fans. I've experienced all that, so we're gonna miss her, of course. Great lady.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Finally, Nick, I get a delicious comment. I get a delicious comment from you on the panel, it's always fight because of your passion. But thank you very much, Nick. That was really, really good. Coming to you, before I go to my co-host, I want to get Declared thoughts on Marina, how well she's done for Chelsea Football Club.
She's done a lot of great things. If we're going to give her the credit for the great things, we also have to blame her for the bad ones too. Then I never blame Marina. I can see why she was there.
And just quickly, Declared, before there's something else I want to share also, but this one here talks about as an official statement confirming Marina Granovskaia's Chelsea departure is expected very soon. So go ahead, brother. Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I can understand why people blame her. I never did. I always saw her as Roman's eyes and ears, and that's how I saw it. If we're gonna praise her, like I said, I mean, you read out some players. I mean, I can figure heaps of players that didn't go well. You know, Drinkwater, Babarama, Falcao.
Okay, from what perspective? That's why we're here. That aspect you want to blame her. I want you to explain properly because I'm going to come back at you.
To give the main point, what I said before, like I said, I didn't blame Marina for anything, but also someone has to take the blame for our bad transfer activities for the last, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it was about 5 seasons, right? We are in a situation because of a lot of bad transfers, or transfers not working out. We're in a situation where we have so many players that are so mixed in stylistically. We've gone through too many managers. We have the second highest wage bill. To think of that, we pay more than the 2 clubs that are dominating the Premier League. We now with Todd Boehly, we might have to. It might take seasons it might take some years to really get unstuck, right? We can blame our scouts. We can blame Bruce Buck. We can blame Marina. We can blame a whole bunch of people. End of the day, they're a bit of a team. But Marina, for me, was that high up that even if the scouts brought her the wrong players, I'm sure they would have brought her a number of players, and she could have chosen. She could have negotiated, and there could have been other deals that she wasn't even involved in, and that were good deals, and we give her credit for. So, all in all, we don't know the operations. Marina is the face of transfers for us. That's why everyone points the fingers, and I think that.
But is it right? Is it right?
Is what right?
Is it right to point fingers at her?
It's not. Just like I gave the analogy earlier in the show about sometimes it's not the manager's fault, but he still gets the sack. In Marina's situation, I always felt with the new ownership that she was going to most likely leave. And I mean, I'm not better now than later, I guess, in a certain way. There's no. She was eventually going to leave, so it's not like a massive surprise that she's leaving now, and maybe it's the best time for her to leave, and then we can straight away. It's not the best time. It's the worst time during
transition,
the transfer window. But I mean,
and transition.
We're kind of ripping off the band-aid. Like I wanted Bruce Buck out. Marina can go too. We all want scouts out, and that's not right too, because it's probably not the scouts' fault. And we don't give the scouts credit too. We give Marina credit for some of the good deals that have happened, or good signings that happened, right? And it might not be the scouts' fault too. And in the same way, if you can't blame Marina, you can't blame the scouts. Then who do we blame? Do we blame the board? Like I said, Marina's the face, and that's why I see everyone blaming her. And whether it's not right or not,
and you haven't let me know. The bad signings, that is the area I want some clarity on where you say she's bad. Yeah. Just give me one example.
When I say Drinkwater, Bamarama, Falcao, Barkley.
Let's start with that. Let's start with Drinkwater. Drinkwater alone is enough. How do you blame her for Drinkwater?
I don't. What I'm saying is, if we're going to give her credit for the
now I
good
get
signings,
go ahead.
yeah, if we're going to give her credit for the good signings, someone has to take the blame for all the bad ones.
And
There's
she's the
heaps
one
of
that
plays
people easily point at.
because everyone was praising her, saying, "Well, look at this. She did this. You know, she got Diego Costa. You guys just said it before. She got Diego Costa on this deal. She sold Morata. Getting Morata was a bad deal anyway, right?
But
She did this.
Here's the thing. Let me just get in there. Here's the thing. Nobody is praising Marina for bringing in the player. We're praising Marina for the business of the player, not the ability of the player. But now, when the player
No, some
does not work out at Chelsea,
some actually do blame Marina for the abilities of the
that's what
players
I'm
in
saying.
question.
They blame Marina for
ahead.
the ability of the players when we bring in players that don't work out. But we don't. Nobody
But
praises
that's
Marina
how
for the
you.
ability. For the
But that's how
players
you.
that do come in, they do praise her for. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, she
But the
did
ability
get
of the
profit.
player
Louisa,
is how it
in a
determines
bit.
the value.
I'll come to you in a bit. Go ahead, Declare. So I'll go to
Yeah,
Louisa.
I was gonna just to add to what Louise say. The ability of the player is what adds to whether it's a good signing or not.
Mm-hmm.
There's a correlation there. Like I also brought up that Marina doesn't know anything about football as well. Doesn't have a footballing background, so you can't blame her. I'm coming from the angle that there's a team of people that do transfers, scouts, board, a whole bunch of negotiation. I bet you there's a multiple amount of play, a number of team at Chelsea working hard that we don't know many names about. But the face of that name, or the leader of that group, right? However the hierarchy structure is Marina, right? And at the same time, her decisions could be Roman's decisions, but we don't blame Roman because she's the face for the past, since he couldn't come back in. We never said Roman stuffed up. Even though we know some players Roman bought, he wanted himself, like Torres and Shevchenko. He pushed for those. That were his signings, right? So, in the same sense that some of these bad signings or good ones could be on Roman's words, right? Lukaku can be on Roman's words. What I'm really getting at is someone's got to take the blame. It probably should be Marina, right? And it should be whoever her team was too. I'd like them to get him out. Everyone wants the scouts out. I'm saying why don't we get them all out? It's so hard for us to finger point on who made a lot of these bad transfers that have put us in a bit of a bad situation that's going to take time to recover, right? It's not we can't just give Marina the same leeways that you give everyone else. The scouts, we can't blame them. We can't blame board members. Can we blame Roman? What we'd have to probably do is, and what's probably going to happen is slowly, people like Marina, people like the scouts, people in positions of power are all going to probably leave and change over. There's going to be a major change, and it's not going to happen now. It'll probably take years to happen. But that's why I can, and like I said, I never blame Marina, but I can understand people pointing the finger at Marina, and I said that should extend to the rest of the people that worked under her, that altogether, collectively made some bad signings, but also praise for some good ones too. But there is more bad signings, right, than good ones. So that's why I stand on someone's got to take some kind of blame.
So let me ask you this quickly. The point you're making, are you trying to say because she's not a scout?
Sorry, your mic's playing up, Cal. I missed the question you're asking.
You're just saying that it's easier for people to blame Marina, even though it wasn't her fault. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, they almost have no choice. That no one knows really, really who. No one knows the order of the hierarchy and the process of how a player how a name is brought up to the club. So we don't even know how much influence Tuchel has, or any other manager has. We don't know how much scouts. Like in my impression is that there's a number of names, and they go through a list of priority. That's my best guess, but we still don't know. So we can't finger point when we want to finger point when something goes bad. The exact responsible person that brought up that name or that made that decision. But the face of that decision is Marina. Just like all these decisions have gotten some of our managers that we didn't want to get sacked, got the sack for, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's in the same sense that some of these people can be responsible for the player power of how much the club has invested in them and how much power that comes with that, right? And that could be a decision from Marina and her team. Ultimately what I'm getting at is there's been a lot of mistakes in signings, and we can collectively all agree on that. And I think someone has to take the blame. And I'm not saying it's completely Marina's fault, but she is the face. And going down to the list of people, maybe that whole process should be changed, and the whole team that's been making these mistakes should be all cleared out and replaced. Just like the same way managers go, players go, they should be judged in the same sense because they've been getting away with it. I never saw scouts and board members and high up of management getting sacked after making big mistakes. The same way we call for a manager's head. So it's been a very long time of bad mistakes. So someone's got to go. That's what I'm saying. Something's going to happen. Something's going to change.
Yeah, I think clearly I understand your point right now. Again, I want to go, before I go to Louisa to make a point, and then I ask the final question for this particular show, and it would take around 30 minutes break before the next show starts. Right now we have 68 people, how many people? 64 people watching, and we have 68 likes. We need just 32 more likes to get to 100 likes at least by the end of this particular show before the next one. Here says Marina really did some wonderful business, but my issue with her is not knowing when to accept a loss and let players go. Bakayoko, Baba Rahman, Batshuayi. I think it's not that simple. Sometimes she's able to get Bakayoko to extend a few years more so that we can sell him and get some value. If you didn't do that, he'd probably live on the free by now. By now left us on the free. But that's, by the way, says that she got a combined 120 million euros from Morata and Costa from the man rumored to be taking her job. Lemlin said the result of the Rüdiger poll is just more proof to me that a lot of the fan base are player first and club second. I think you could argue that that's the truth. They didn't look beyond, but none of them, most of them didn't pay attention to what Rüdiger did there. He played with the emotions of the Chelsea fan base, and it really worked for him because they start blaming the club and Marina and all that. Again, I thank you very much for that delicious comment. That is just another reason why the players are so much of power over the years. For me, that may well be the case. Again, quickly here, anything else to read? I'll just skip because there's quite a lot to read, and we have another show coming up. I think I've read that. I've read this one too. Marina did good for us, but we need to accept change. We are accepting change. Yeah, we're just doing this show to review her stay at Chelsea Football Club, how well she's done and all that. Beautiful. When I was in London in January, I went to a Fulham game. Okay, that's the story you want to tell the people there. Good for you. Now to the bottom, Louisa, give us your thoughts on how well you think Marina have done for Chelsea Football Club.
Okay, I truly appreciate what Marina has done, and I'm of the opinion with the same person that put it in the chat that yes, she has done well for us. This is the bully area. Let's bring in the bully people so that we would not get any excuse that they are running with Roman structure or anything. Let's fully embrace the bully area and accept what they are doing, and let's hope that whatever they are doing is going to be the best, because we're all Chelsea fans. I like Marina, but I'm not like a Marina fan. I'm a Chelsea fan. I want Chelsea to do well, even if Marina is leaving.
Yeah. So that's all you have to say about that. That's a quick one for you, Louisa. But I get your point. Again, the truth is.
Can I address this comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think in that comment has an actual answer, a different answer, and a different statement than the one Tribu's actually making. Emanalo, was he not blamed for every transfer while he was here and while he got the ass? All Marina did was take over Emanalo's blame. Emanalo got the blame when he was here. He was the face of transfers. Emanalo left, and now Marina is the face of transfers.
Yeah, that's my point on this exact same thing. When Emanalo
that's
left,
what I mean. So Emanalo got the blame, and maybe not every choice was his one too.
No, but Emanalo's choice. Emanalo was the technical director.
So who's the technical director
coach,
after Emanalo?
According to what coach highlighted, she was in charge of negotiations. That's why I said I also get why she was getting the blame. I'm not even excused. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be blamed or she should be blamed. I'm just like, I understand she was blamed because it looked like she took over Emanalo's position, but I feel like she didn't have any football experience. So there's no way you're telling me that Marina was taking over Emanalo's job as the technical director. We didn't have.
That's what I'm getting at. So who do you think? That's what I mean. I'm in the same boat as what you're saying. I don't blame and I do blame.
Coach, let me ask Declare something.
So who do you
think
was actually doing what Emanalo did?
Okay, Declare. Nick has a question for you. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, okay. Look, you're saying Marina is to blame, for the scout team and all that. She was just there. She was there for the money. She was just there for the money to make.
Let him finish the clap, then you answer.
Yeah.
Let's just take it one by one.
And the blame, you can't blame everyone. The clubs always do that. They blame everyone, and in the end of the day, the manager gets the blame, and they sack the manager. Every club does the same. It's the manager at the bottom of the day. Whichever players they bring in, it's up to that manager to make it work. Most managers, it's their choice. They agreed with the players coming in. That's why they get sacked. But Marina, you can't blame for nothing. Marina done good for this club, and I don't blame her for nothing. She done good with the signings. Mistakes were made with the board, the scouts. They brought these players in what didn't work for us. Not Marina. So, Marina was a great accountant. That's what she is. An accountant. That's what I just wanted to say.
That's a new term. I haven't heard that one. A great accountant. So,
like I said, I didn't blame Marina. I think if you heard me in all that, I said I understood why she was getting the blame. I didn't blame her, right? Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is, and what Lucy said, Emanalo got blamed. Emanalo was technical director. We have no more technical director. Marina's face is now when we want to talk about transfers. When something in the transfers happens well, right?
Yeah, because
Marina did a great job.
Yeah, because she was so close to Roman. That's why.
That's why you guys are actually saying the same thing now.
Yeah.
You and Nick.
She was close to Roman. Mm-hmm. So
that's what I was saying, Nick.
She shouldn't get the blame. That's what I'm saying. She shouldn't get the blame.
You simply can't stop people from blaming her, Nick. That's who Chelsea fans are. So guys, let's
we're not going to blame.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, let me ask you, Nick. If we can't blame Marina, who would we blame?
Like I said, the blame goes to the manager at the end of the day, and that's why they get sacked.
The manager's not buying the players.
Marina is an accountant. She's there to make money. Not to lose money. All right, she made a few mistakes, but
all right,
more good than bad. And that's a technical director. That was
yeah, Nick. Just quickly, let me ask you this quickly, Nick. People have the right to blame her.
Yeah, I know.
Whether she's innocent or not.
But exactly, she got some bad blame.
Yeah,
I heard some really bad words for Marina, which she didn't deserve.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And I think Rudiger, you and Nick, you and Declan were actually saying the same thing.
Coach, I was so gutted that my favorite player was going, I blame Marina, but it wasn't Marina, really. It was Rudiger making his choice. He didn't want to wait. I was wrong. When I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But, I was blaming Marina. I was going mad because Rudiger I wanted him to say so much. As you know, So
Yeah, and you countered me. You said I was blaming Marina too. You and I have a fight. But that's, by the way, Nick. Thank you very much. Declan, do you want to add anything before, because Louisa hasn't actually finished her thought? Have you, Louisa?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Declan, you wanted to say something, so we'll let her finish her thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear because I think it can be easily misunderstood. Like I'm going to repeat, I didn't blame Marina. She shouldn't be completely the cause or at fault, but at the same time I can see why she's at fault as well. We have to, everyone points fingers, every club does this, every fan does this, right? So it's not just Chelsea, yeah. When something doesn't go right, we point our finger to someone, right? When Marina's name was brought up, it's hard to blame Marina when she doesn't have a footballing background, but when it comes to the accounting side, which you guys brought up, everyone blames Marina, right? So then the scouts have been blamed, but no one knows the scouts' names properly. No one knows which scouts or who the decision. We don't know the process. That's why it's so much easier just to say it's Marina's fault, even though it probably wasn't. But she is the face. And for me, it's not just Marina's fault. There's a whole team. Marina, the scouts, whatever. Whatever the process is, whoever has made the choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've made mistakes here. There's no denying it. No one can tell me that we've had good transfers in the last at least 5 seasons that I can. Maybe it's longer, maybe shorter, right?
Yeah.
I'm just an estimate, right? We've had a really bad patch that's put us in a bad position, and someone has to take some kind of blame and someone has to leave. I want changes. If we keep making these bad decisions, we're going to be in a real bad spot. We're not going to be competing for top 4 or Premier. We're going to be, we're going to be like everyone talks about, like see how many bad decisions Arsenal has made and what they're putting in, right? They're putting in a bad spot. Man United as well. So like we can be in a real bad spot that we can't throw money at it than we used to at Roman now as well. So I need someone. Yeah, I need some changes. Someone has to take the blame and it has to go. And like Marina was always going to leave, so I'm saying she can take the blame and take the blame with her. And also more people have to go. I don't think it ends with Marina.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much.
Coach. They're all going to go declare. This board of us is all going one by one, and Boehly will have his own people in. So we have to wait and see what he does. With Tuchel, I'm really glad that he's backing him. And I trust Boehly. I trust him what he said, and I think he will come good.
All right. Tobago, I get your inbox, and thank you very much. And by the way, this update here on the screen is from the Queen of the House, Just Viola, just to clear things up. Listen to this, because some people are already making it seem as if she's getting fired or she's falling out with Todd Boehly. Here, this is Ben Jacobs. He says, and Granovskaia's departing is not totally unexpected. Unlike Buck, she was considering her future regardless of who replaces Roman Abramovich, and we knew this before time. And despite being admired by Clark and Boehly, not only do the clubs work multiple windows ahead, but CFC wouldn't let her go without a full handover. That's to show you it was never a fallout. And the reason we're here is just to talk about how how well she's done for the club. But that's, by the way, let me quickly catch up. Louisa, I'll come to you. Then we're about to round off this particular show. And we started another show in about 30 minutes or so, or less. Says here, Triblu says, is MLL getting the blame for his choices? No, Marina is getting it. Fans who go to games were blaming MLL's knowledgeable fans of decades. She is getting blamed for MLL's choices. Now, you could argue that. I am referring to the fact that she said she's Chelsea fan, not a Marina fan. Who are you talking about? I don't know. And Christensen Henry says, Coachella, please watch Mosa Diaby and give me a feedback. It's a big upgrade. This guy can play both wings and midfield. Okay, I'll try and do that whenever time allows. Ousmane Dembele's situation will become clearer next week. You distract me now, Tobago. You should know better. So Marina's good at transfers are not being credited. Wow. Yeah, most people don't credit her for a good transfers. While we're at that, right now we have 70 likes. We have just 30. We need 71 likes. We need just 29 more likes to get to 100 likes, and we can do that. Although we have just a few minutes to round up the show, but we can actually do that. So please keep liking the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And thank you very much for 71 likes. That's never easy. You guys are absolute legend. Chelsea the Kingslayer says contract expiring next summer. Alonso, Barkley, Batshuayi, Bettinelli, Kante, Jorginho, Miazga. I thought Miazga is gone already. Oh my goodness. The True Blue Marina fan getting some some revenge of Coachella. Okay, I get it. Okay, now a contract expiring in 2024. Ampadu, Baba Rahman, Emerson, quite a lot of them. We're loaded with them. Coach, check your DM. I've done so at Tobago, and I'm going to use it, for the next show, surely. And thank you for that. I says now, watch how people will call out Todd Boehly for transfer negotiations this season. I think he gets somebody in. He wouldn't do that for a long time. He's just quickly filling in the position, the job to help get things done. Because you can't leave it vacant. It will be very difficult. Diego Costa, Timo Werner, and Hakim Ziyech were bought by activating their release clauses. No negotiations required. Okay, thank you very much. Just Viola. Okay, our fans are crazy. Again, responding to Chelsea, the Kingslayer, and Holtz. Nice to see you guys. I hope things are well on your end. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, and nice to see you again. True Blue, I am just posting info. Stop being defensive. Okay, you guys just sort it out there. Come on, guys, like the stream. Yes, keep liking the stream. 72 now, so 28 to go to 100 likes. Thank you very much for that. That's never easy. You guys are absolute legends. Cadell Edwards says Chelsea FC forever. Keep the blue flag flying high. Thank you very much for that. Chelsea the Kingslayer had no release clause. Keep making okay. And I follow closely. So now I'm back to the panel. Louisa, you let us know your thoughts, and I'm going to be out, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes or less.
Okay, so basically what I was trying to say about the whole situation.
Please, Louisa, just quickly, please handle the show. I'll be back in about 5 minutes or less. Go ahead.
No problem. The whole Emenalo and Marina situation, what the feel I'm getting is that people are blaming Marina because it felt like Emenalo, she took over Emenalo's job as the technical director. And I'm like, we still need to put 2 and 2 together, because at the end of the day, there's no way you're going to convince me that Marina took over Emenalo's duties as technical director, because she has no football experience. No, who is going to hand over technical director to to someone at Chelsea Football Club without the football experience? And when you think about it, at Chelsea, it felt like removing technical director Emenalo was because, okay, we wanted to hand over that role of recruiting the players to the coach, which it felt like they were in charge of. But Marina's own situation was basically accounting, the money wise. She was like the CFO, but because she took over as Roman's face, she got a lot of blame, which I've said, okay, yes, fine, she should get the blame because she's the face according to Declared. Then Boehly coming in, he needs his own people to come in, so that there's really no excuse as to why we are not succeeding by the time we are calling for accountability. So Declared, am I back on your good graces for this? Am I back on your good graces?
You never left those. And like I said, I was more speaking for other people. The Emenalo is a great example, because while Emenalo was here, he got the blame. As soon as he left, there was really no technical director. The job kind of split up into multiple people. But the only person we knew that was left was Marina. So when fans have complained of late seasons to come, it was either Marina or our scouts or our board or the manager. Do you know what I mean? I've heard we've debated who was who's signing? Was this a Lampard signing? Was this a Tuchel signing? And then fans will choose. You know, if the most recent one, look, Lukaku, probably one of the worst signings in our history, and the blame game's been hit around a lot. Was a Tuchel signing? That's debatable. You know, did Tuchel want him? Was it Marina? We paid so much? Everyone blames the scouts. Even for me, how do you blame a scout when you don't even need scouts for Lukaku? You saw what he was doing. Even someone like Marina can say, well, look at his stats. Someone without even football knowledge can say that this is a good striker. He can solve our problem. Do you know what I mean? Someone made the Lukaku call. We don't know. It could be Roman. Do you know? But just as the blame game has been going on with Lukaku,
Roman wanted.
Yeah, let me finish. Yeah, okay, you can say Roman, but every fan has a different.
Let's talk one by one. Tuchel
gets the blame as well because he accepted him. He wanted him.
Nick, I'll come to you. Let's talk one by one.
Marina can take the blame as well because it was too much money as well. We can say things like that. It's the general point I was getting at that is that we've been blaming so many people, and in that whole what do you call it? The turn in the whole circle of getting blamed, the blame game. That's where Marina comes into. So, and the reason there is the blame game going on because everyone is in the same boat and in agreement that our transfers haven't been that great. So that's where the blame game comes in. And then when Todd Boehly introduces his new person, that person's face and that name, when he stuffs up, or she, right, that person is getting the blame. And just as the same way Marina got it, that next person is getting it too.
So Declan, while I'm still with you, before I go to Nick and Louisa, so we can round up this show, take a break before we come for the next show. Question I want to ask you, 10, that is out of 10, how would you rate Marina's, what she's done at Chelsea Football Club so far? Because she's still there. She's not gone yet.
Well, that's a hard one to rate after all what I said. If I'm just gonna rate our transfers as a collective, while Marina has been the face, I'm gonna put it to a 3. 3 out of 10.
Okay, that's you.
Hold on. Is my thing taken out of context? Do you hear what I rated it on?
3 out of 10.
Okay,
women fighting for women.
I give our transfers a 3. Our transfer business, while Marina has been the face of our business, has been a 3 out of 10.
Okay, you have the right to do so. You have the right to do so, and that's your rating, right? So Nick, state your point and let us know, out of 10, how do you rate Marina? And after you wanted to say something first. Say what you wanted to say before, then you let us know how you rate her.
Yeah. I forgot about what I was saying in the first point.
Who made the final call? The client was saying who made the final call on the Marina there, but I just have to hold you because you both were talking at the same time then.
Call, yeah, it was Roman. He wanted, the thing is the fans' fault. It's all our fault. It's us fans. We want shouting and screaming. We wanted a attacker who can score. The fans started this. Tuchel was happy to carry on with the pace he had, but we were screaming. Not just me, every single fan wanted the top striker. So, Abramovich, he probably talked with Tuchel. Should we get Lukaku? We can't get Haaland. I can't get Lewandowski. Kane, forget him. And Lukaku was the next one, the next top striker in the world. So to keep the fans happy, we got a strike. We got Lukaku. In the beginning, everyone thought he was going to be good. He started good. But who was to know, what was going to happen with the interviews and this and that? No one knew that. And that's not Marina's fault. It was the fans who started that. And I blame myself and everyone else. And, So, that's what I want to say about Lukaku. It's not Marina's business.
So
Marina, like I said, Marina is an accountant. She has nothing to do with the players they bring in. for her to value. Yeah, we go for that sort of money. She's the money side. All right, you say she's a face. She's not only the face. The face was Roman at the club always. Marina was under Roman. Anyone who talked about Chelsea was Roman. So I don't know where all this face business is coming from. Declare, she wasn't the face.
Okay.
And
who was the face?
No,
It's not the face of the club.
Declare
the
the
face of transfers.
Let me say something quickly. Declare, you have every right to call her the face of the whole thing. Nick has every right to say
the face of transfers. I feel like my words have been skewed this whole night.
Don't talk rubbish. You're talking so much rubbish as always. Like you always do.
Nick, please make your point.
He's interrupted me.
Yeah, go ahead. Declare, just let him finish. Go ahead,
I
Nick.
think you've been interrupted quite a bit today as
well.
Yes,
you are. You're interrupted.
And did you not interrupt me today as well?
Nick, go ahead, please. Let him finish. Declare, please. Let him finish his point.
Yeah. Look.
Okay, Nick, go ahead, Nick.
So Roman is a face, and not Marina. But everyone who talks about Chelsea was Roman. Marina was under Roman. Roman made the final choice. The final. If Marina said to me, "Give me 100,000, 100 million for this player,"
okay,
it was up to Roman if he was going to do that. And she done a great business for the club. She gets 10 out of 10 from me, not 3 like some non-Chelsea fans say.
Okay.
Chelsea fan.
Your hearing's at a 2.
No.
All right. Louisa. Okay, we're going to Louisa now. What's your rating, Nick? What's your rating?
Stay there, because you're not.
Nick, what's your rating?
I said 10.
All right, Louisa, you go ahead. Your thoughts are everything she's done for Chelsea and how you rate her.
Yeah, so personally, I first of all need to make sure that Declared is completely in control of what he's saying and he's not being held at gunpoint by a non-Chelsea fan for saying this, because I don't see how I get rating now maybe like 5/10. But come on, 3/10. I get rating at average because, okay, maybe you are not satisfied with what's going on. 5/10 is good. 5/10 is something that you'll be like, okay, everyone has their opinion. But 3/10 is not everybody has their opinion. There's some opinions that you should not be like okay with people having at this point. 3/10, come on. Oh no, Declared.
Yeah, like I said, I think my words tonight have been very twisted. Louis, let me ask you.
Not part of your words. Let
me ask you. You're about to rate Marina. Before you rate Marina, can you explain why and what on you're rating her on? What she did. Yeah. So where your rating comes from? I explained my rating, and that was ridiculous to you.
I listened to you, and I heard you.
But let me ask you one question. My rating was based on transfers.
Yeah.
I just want to ask, before you give Marina's rating, how the last 5 seasons, how do you rate our transfers? Not Marina. How do you rate our transfers? All of them. I can give you a list of names to help you, right? On all the bad transfers, we've had more bad ones than good. I agree with that, right? If we tally up the numbers, how do you rate our transfer business in the last 5 seasons?
Did you hear that? 5/10.
Yeah, but Marina.
Okay, so I said 3. So it's not that ridiculous then.
Marina okay, go ahead, Louisa.
It doesn't matter.
Let's not disturb Louisa. Louisa, it's Louisa's turn to speak. Let her finish, please.
But I listened intently to what both Nick and Declared said. Declared rated Marina based on the transfer windows we've had, and let's be clear on why it looks like it's the gift of foresight that is making the transfer windows look bad. At the time we're getting all these players, it's not like we went to go and get a player that was performing poorly in hopes that they will perform well. When we got Havertz was like the next best thing. When we got Havertz, no one knew of Haaland. Havertz was like the way Haaland is currently. Havertz was tearing it up. When we got Werner was tearing it up. Chilwell turned out good for us. Conte turned out good for us, which I think it came before around 2017. So that was like, let's credit that to Emenalo for the Conte's decision. When we brought in Mendy during a Marina transfer window, we brought in Thiago Silva, which, let's say, that was even what's his name? That was Thomas' choice. You can't say our transfer window was bad when we were doing
names. You skip some names. There's Drinkwater, Babarama, Falcao, Barkley, Diliboli, Bashawawi.
You said the last 5 years.
Bakayoko, Sabacosta, Kepa, Higuain, Bruno. I could go on. You can't cherry pick off names and say, well, so was it too bad?
Yeah, let her finish. Just let her finish.
Even Drinkwater was. You can argue that Drinkwater tried when we went on the league run and won the league. That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make that at the point these deals were being made.
Just let her finish.
At the point these deals were being made, we weren't like, okay, we're going to bring in a bad player and transform the player. Even Lukaku's deal, rival fans were envying us when we were getting Lukaku because we thought we were getting the Lukaku who went and scouted and said, okay, this is a good player. All these players we got talented players who were really good at the time we were scouting them and trying to bring them in. No one's buying a bad player to come and say, okay, they are going to change at Chelsea. We are getting good players. They are not working at the club, maybe because of the manager, because of the system we are playing, because of the league they are coming to. For a number of factors, they are not working. But if we were bringing in the player at the time, the type of player we were actually scouting, and they were coming to translate that same form we bought them in for us, that would have been a different case. Everybody would be like 10 out of 10. So I do get that. If you are rating it based on the business we were doing in that transfer window, then I'm really sure you'll be saying 10 out of 10. The reason this is 3/10 right now is because they came in, they were not working. Which it should be based on the players. We should
right. Was it Melissa?
Be the players' fault, the manager's fault.
Louisa.
For bringing in players after coming in and not working.
Let her finish. She's still talking.
Because the Claire's talking a lot of rubbish, as always.
Yeah, just let Louisa finish. Louisa, go ahead.
So me personally, I don't believe in rating anybody 10 out of 10. I think that she has done a really good job at what she was giving. I felt like Boehly would have really used that because if he needed to make a profit, Roman did not need to make a profit. Boehly needs to make a profit for his shareholders and his investors. I felt like she was the perfect person because she would have made a profit. She would have still continued making a profit for Chelsea. I give her 8 out of 10 for her business because things could have gone better, definitely. And I don't think anyone should be given 10 out of 10 because people do make mistakes and they should own up to their mistakes. But 3/10, that's just like trying to be controversial for no reason.
10 out of 10.
No, it's not controversial. Let me add. You gave certain leeway.
Here's the thing, quickly. We all have the right to rate her however we want.
You're right. 8 is fair, but not 3. You know.
That's declared for you. That's him. I could care less if he rates her 0. But I will say my point, if you rates Marina 0, I would say, this point you're rating her 0 for isn't really her point. That's just what.
And I explained why I gave that rating too. I explained
exactly. I see your point. But declared, 3 is bad. And you see what just says on the screen.
3 is bad, but the rating isn't. The rating isn't just Marina. The rating is our transfers.
But they asked for Marina's rating. What's your transfers? Marina's rating.
Let me look at it this way, because if you think I'm being some ridiculous and controversial, you're being biased to maybe your favorite lady here.
Okay, so Nick, hold on. Declare, what's your rating for Marina herself?
Whatever they do, you're against it. You never said a one good thing about this club, man. So don't tell me you're a Chelsea fan.
I'm saying great things. You know what? And I know I've been right on things too. Everything you said was wrong, and everything said I was right, even though it was bad. We had a bad season.
Declan, here's the question I have for you, Declan.
I just want to.
Can we stop? We're all talking at the same time, please. Declan, here's the question I have for you right now. You said the rating was based on the whole transfer, right? And believe me, this is what I like. We all don't have to agree. It's not a must. We all don't have to. Everybody has their opinion and has the right to express their opinion. If you have a counter argument, let's stop talking about what the person has said 10 years ago or so. What we're talking about is what we're talking about right now. That's what the conversation is based on. So, Declan, you said your rating is based on the whole transfer, right? Was that what you said, brother? Are you there?
Yeah. Of the last 5.
Okay, so I'm asking.
I haven't looked it up, but let's say 5 seasons, for example, while she's been.
No problem. What I'm asking you, Declan, rate Marina based on everything she's done for Chelsea. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. So the whole night I've been saying, right, is that you can't blame Marina and you can blame Marina because we don't know who exactly is to blame for each transfer, right? But she sits on for me, and just like you read out the title, right? In terms of player transactions, right, and transfers, her face and her position at the club, she sits high up, making her why I call her the face of transfers, right? So when everything that has to do with transfers, hers, the power she has at the club, she probably okays the transfers. Roman probably tells her to okay the transfers. Someone else maybe does. We're not completely sure. But what we do know, right, is that she's involved in the transfers and she's the face of it, and the rest of the team do the transfers. There's multiple people involved in transfers, right? We don't know who made the mistakes, right? There's been good transfers, there's been multiple bad transfers. What I've been saying is that there's been more bad transfers, right, than good ones, while she's been the face. That's why I called it the face. That's what I explained, right? I don't even know which ones she did right, or which one she did, or how much influence she had on transfers, right? But as she's the symbol, right, of the transfers in the face, that's how you look at it. Someone, her and her team, or whoever is involved in transfers at the club, because when Luis even brought up, well, this player was playing good. Especially Lukaku, I saw that this player had the characteristics that didn't fit our system. He can play good somewhere else, but I was worried and concerned of that player coming to this team and playing under this manager because it didn't make sense. For example, Lukaku, Tuchel didn't play Giroud and Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham barely made the team, right? Giroud wasn't being played. They're focal point strikers. Right? He decided to go Havertz instead. So you bring the most focal point striker in, whether he's playing really good at another club, right? So my point in this decision was made above Tuchel, right? And someone above there, maybe Marina had nothing to do with it, or maybe she completely had something to do with it, right? Maybe it was her choice. Maybe she's the one that okayed it, right? Or maybe it was Roman. What I'm saying is that because of the unknown, right? But what we can all agree on is that we've had bad transfers that have led up to massive problems at the club. Someone has to take the blame. If she's the face of transfers because of all the reasons I just explained, right? Then I'm going to give her a rating based on purely transfer activity, right? And it's probably not fair to her, but that's what I said. All my reasoning is that she's the face of transfers. She's the representative of transfers. So I got to give it that. Look, the same way, if the team doesn't perform, we're going to say Tuchel's the problem. We're going to blame Tuchel, right? Tuchel's got to go. We can blame Tuchel. Even though a player does a mistake on the field, right? Tuchel gets the blame. So one of her team scouts, whatever, done a mistake in terms of transfers, Marina can take the blame, just like everyone at the top does. Every leader, everyone at the face and leader gets the blame somehow, right? And someone's got to take the blame, right? And that's why I'm rating her, because of the unknown, because we don't have no info on what she exactly does, right? And which transfer she was most involved with, and we don't know her praise, like the good ones she done, and we don't know the mistakes she's done. We don't know who to blame here. But like I said, she's the face. There's no denying that. And so, purely on that basis, I'm rating our transfer business, right, a 3 out of 10 for the time she has been the leader of the team. Whether it's not her fault or not, regardless, she's the leader. She's the face.
Yeah. Yeah. Now here's the thing. I think you have every right to rate her. You even 0 if you like. That's the thing. And again, while I'm highlighting this comment on the screen because it just makes sense. Lots of personal attacks in here. Don't attack people personally. Talk about what that person said. We shouldn't go beyond and start saying individual, pointing out you've said this before. You said that's it. Look, that's why we're here. If we all agree, we don't have a show. We have an argument. We have a debate, if you prefer, to learn from each other. And again, the client has every right to even say he rates him -1. Nick, you know my opinion about Mason Mount, for instance. You know I like him. And I know how you rate him. And I know how you compare him with Conor Gallagher. So this has been a brilliant show. A brilliant show up to now. Nothing has spoiled. We haven't thrown punches at each other. But that's by the way, I'm going to move ahead because we've come to the end of the show. Break. Again, I think it was supposed to start at 6:15, but I'm going to push it to 6:30. So we'll take 30 minutes break and we'll complete the show. And again, that will be my last. That is the last show for almost a week. If I'm able to get Louisa, arrange for her to always still host the Blue Morning Show if she has the time, if I can get someone else, that would be great. But I know the transfer window will still be, very young by the time I come back in a week's time. But that's by the way. So no personal attack, please. Let's have some fun. It's been a brilliant show so far. Again, anything else to read here? I don't think there's anything new. And by the way, if you haven't, go check out Zivoli's YouTube channel. Great content. Check it out and be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. And right now we have 59 people watching. We have 74 likes, just 26 more to get to 100. If you can, please keep liking the video. And I want to talk about those on the panel too. Go give them a follow. You can see the Cladas is Twitter handle, and that's Nick's Twitter handle too. Louisa, I think if you search that, you'll find that. And of course, follow Chelsea Perspective. And also, if you are on Facebook, follow Chelsea Perspective on Facebook and do share it with other people. Invite people to the group. Nick, quickly tell us about your channel before I go to the poll and round off.
Sorry, I'm just having a croissant. I've been out, and I was starving. So, the channel, like I said, is called The Real Chelsea. We're trying to get it going. Some technical issues at the moment, and because my co-host is working, I have to wait for him. So hopefully soon we will be. The channel is running, but not live yet. So soon we're going to sort everything out. Everyone will know. So yeah, I think ID. It's been on here a few times. It's been here in the chat. So let's hope. I'm just hoping the sooner the better. But we have to be patient. We have to sort it out.
Yeah, and I'll do the best I can to help. If you guys have any questions, always reach out. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And for the poll we have here, I want to say thank you to Declad, everybody on the panel, my co-host Louisa and Nick for finding time to join, and those that were here before, IBZ, and who else was here? I think we had 6 people on the panel. We had full panel. Again, I want to say the poll here. We'll find out that 32 people rates Marina 10 out of 10, 50%, 32%, so to speak, 50% rates 7 out of 10, 9% rates 4 out of 10, and 9% rates 1 out of 10. And with that, I don't see anything finally to address here. I want to say thank you to everybody that found time to join the show. It's not easy. I sincerely do appreciate you all, from Z-Volley, from Chelsea, the Kingslayer, from the Queen of the House, Just Viola, Mikhail himself was here. Where's Mikhail again? Trubly also, who's been here all through. Liam Lane, I appreciate you. Yes, a great show. We all made it a great show. And that's why the Blue Morning Show is always objective. There's always something to learn. We don't just jump to conclusions from whatever we're hearing out there. Dexter 5. And again, I'm looking for my brother Mikhail's comment here to say thank you to everyone. If I missed saying your name, apologies. I'm only a human being. And again, with that, we've come to the end of the show. And I cannot find the intro. As always, I struggle to end the show. Maybe the show doesn't want to be ended, but that's by the way. There you go. With that, I say thank you so much. See you guys in about 30 minutes for the transfer show. This has been a brilliant show, and please do share the show to anybody who know that be interested in learning something from this stream today, because there's quite a lot to learn. Thank you very much. God bless us all. See you guys in a few minutes. Bye.